This is Audible.
The Dark Romance Series, Part 1 and 2, plus a bonus scene. Written by Anita Gray. Narrated by Cheryl Ray and Hunter Millbrook. Blair, The Dark Romance Series, Part 1. Written by Anita Gray. Narrated by Cheryl Ray. Chapter 1. I walk through Maksim's strip club like a ghost, under streaming red lights that flash in tune with the pounding music. The air smells potent with sweaty bodies and cheap perfume, a mixture of men and women. Just how my master likes it. Everything I see moves through my mind's eye in slow motion, my brain carefully and collectively scanning for danger. There isn't much out of the ordinary going on tonight. A few regulars line the stage in the center of the club, all unaware of my presence. I know why. They're too focused on the strippers, beautiful European girls, leisurely peeling off their clothes. I'm wearing the usual, black sports trousers, trainers, and a thin black leather jacket over a long-sleeved sweater. Not exactly arousing attire, but this is how I like it, being under the radar. The strippers are the only people who do notice my presence. As I pass the stage, they each scowl with obvious loathing. I understand their loathing. I'm the only girl in Maksim's inner circle, and this lot, the strippers, hate it. They wonder why. They've always wondered why. No danger here. Is Kop Maksim back there? I ask a member of security in Russian, gesturing at the door he's standing in front of like the Great Wall of Man.
Yes,
he says in Russian, pale eyes empty of emotion.
He's been waiting for you.
I nod, aware I'm an hour late. I'm never usually late, as I know poor punctuality results in a good bloody hiding. But my phone was on silent, by accident, so I didn't hear Maksim's text message. The security guy pushes open the heavy door and stands aside. I saunter down the red hall, turn left, and knock on Maksim's office door 3 times. The knocks echo, carrying over the music booming through the walls.
Come in, my little pet,
Maksim says through the intercom system in his thick Russian drawl, making me shiver with awareness. His voice brings my entire body to attention. Pushing with both palms, I force the door to creak open and go inside. Maksim isn't alone. I don't react. I never react to surprises. I briefly look to see who is accompanying my master, and though it's quite dark in here, I'm very aware of the powerful blue eyes watching me from the leather couch by the left wall. Eyes that seem to be all over my body at once. Sharp little hairs race down my arms and legs. I haven't seen him before. The notion that he's a stranger puts me on guard, because Maksim rarely allows strange faces in his circle, let alone in his office. I stop before the wide desk and fold my hands behind my back, feeling sheathed in darkness. Maksim only has the desk lamp on, and that isn't exactly bright. It just about illuminates his diamond-shaped, iron face.
You are late, my little pet.
He says each word with significant and singular meaning, speaking in Russian. My blood runs cold when he's like this, mulling over something other than business. Today, it seems it's my timekeeping. I keep focus, my gaze level and on him slouching back in his chair. He's a striking man, with steady, expressionless golden eyes and shoulder-length dark brown hair that smells like brute from the candles he burns. I remember the scent well. I remember the feeling of his hair on my face when he cuddles me after a beating. My phone was accidentally on silent, I say, and my voice is low, as per usual. I'm sorry, caught Maxime. I offer him a little head bow of respect. Leaning forward and resting his elbows on the desk, he entwines his fingers together, holding my gaze with soul-consuming eyes.
No more keeping your phone on silent, Blair.
I flinch subconsciously, stepping back. He only calls me by my given name when I've done something wrong, and that usually means trouble for me is brewing. Maxime cocks a brow at me.
You got that?
I nod, taking his warning seriously. I might be in his inner circle, but it takes just one bullet to remove me.
What have you been doing for the past few days?
He asks in Russian, his tone husky and utterly terrifying. Nothing much, I whisper in our language, squeezing my hands together on the low of my back. I've been training, of course. Went to the salon yesterday, and I went out to a club last night.
Yes.
He tips his head.
My men saw you driving through the countryside. Did you have fun?
I shake my head, being honest. I was just getting out of the apartment, caught Maxime.
Of course, my little pet. Of course. Though, next time you want to visit a club, you come here.
He taps his desk with one finger.
You do not have to travel to strange places to have fun.
This is a shame. I like visiting strange places when I'm alone, since everything in my life is a consistent bloodbath with the people and the work I execute. Sometimes I just like a change of scenery. I guess, at his command, I don't like visiting strange places anymore. Okay. I lift my lips in a forced, wary smile. As you wish. Maxime acknowledges my obedience with a returned smile. Then he gestures to the right, to the man sitting on the couch, and I know the conversation about my last 2 days is over.
My little pet.
He's speaking in English now.
Meet my old friend, Mr. Desena.
Old friend? It takes a lot of effort not to frown. I've been with Maxime for 10 years, and I've never seen or heard of a Mr. Desena. I look at Maxime's friend with my face blank of sentiment. Above him, a long tube light attached to the wall flickers on, buzzing with electricity, illuminating a tall, muscular frame.
No matter what happens here tonight,
Maxime says in sly Russian,
you are ordered not to challenge him.
The back of my neck pricks. Maxime never orders me to stand down. Though nervous, I obey without question, nodding to show I understand his command. I then study Mr. Desena, surprised by how relaxed he is in his pose, sitting there in the middle of the couch with one arm draped over the back, long legs stretched out in front of him. This is bizarre. No one is ever that relaxed in Maxime's company. I reckon Mr. Desena is in his late 20s. He looks young, wearing fitted jeans, tanned boots, and a black round-neck t-shirt that boasts solid muscles. He's nothing at all like my master, who favors suits. But Maxime has a tall, athletic body for them. They are wearing similar watches on their left wrists with thick silver straps. But that's where their similarities end.
Mr. Desena would like to ask you some questions,
Maxime says. I nod in response, still studying the relaxed pawn. Unruly, ink-black hair curls around his neck and face, abating a strong, square, clean-shaven jawline and a blade of a nose. His black eyebrows are thick and long, framing prevailing blue eyes that stand against his naturally tan skin. He's a good-looking man, and judging by that lazy, narcissistic expression on his face, he's aware of it. He fancies himself. He stares me up and down with slow meditation. taking in all my features from head to toe, and I'm suddenly so uncomfortable that my stomach knots. I can't really explain why, but he makes me feel naked to the bone. I shift on my feet, trying to iron out my anxiety. That's when a smirk lifts the side of Mr. DeSena's lips, a mischievous smirk, full of promise.
"What do I call you, senorita?"
he asks, his voice deep yet calm. He's American, but there's a sprinkle of Latin in his accent.
"My little pet, or Blair?"
Maxime nods to tell me I can answer. "Blair," I say. There's a split second of silence before Mr. DeSena tells me,
"All right, you can call me Charlie."
Maxime's eyebrows shoot up, but he doesn't say anything. Another period of silence follows, then Charlie rasps out my name, drumming his fingers against the back of the couch.
"Blair as in field of battle?"
I scrunch up my face, unable to stop myself. What's he talking about? Maxime chuckles under his breath like he's confirming something.
"You never mentioned how bonita she is,"
Charlie says softly, causing me to straighten out my features.
"Nor did you mention that lovely, whispery voice." "Oh, my friend."
Maxime smiles cunningly at me, his golden eyes crinkling in the corners.
"Don't take it personally. I do not boast of her to anyone." "Why not? She's a nice-looking girl."
Charlie's voice lowers as he says in Spanish,
"Siempre me he preguntado acerca de los pelirrojos."
I've always wondered about redheads. I swallow, hoping I'm not visibly sweating under the pressure of these two.
"I wouldn't want you excited to see her,"
Maxime says,
"for she is mine, and mine alone."
Charlie hums, staring right at me with brazen audacity. I get the feeling he isn't a pawn in Maxime's game. He's too confident.
"She sounds kinda Russian,"
he says after a while, still tapping his fingers against the couch.
"Where's she from?" "She's not Russian,"
Maxime says, and I see that he shakes his head at Charlie. Charlie nods once, understanding the gesture.
"How old are you, Blair?"
I look at Maxime. He nods. 18. Raising his eyebrows, Charlie seems stunned. I'm not sure why.
"What do you do exactly?"
he asks.
"I've heard various stories."
Maxime gives me the go-ahead, so I say, "I deal in technology."
"She's also on my security detail,"
Maxime adds.
"This small girl is part of your security?"
Charlie stops tapping the back of the couch, his eyes taut with confusion. A crease forms between his eyebrows, and it makes him look evil.
"She is."
Maxime smiles up at me again, knowingly proud.
"She is a beauty in battle, trained to defend me on instinct, unless I say otherwise."
That's true. I am trained to defend him however I can, though I wouldn't just say I'm trained. I'd say I'm more conditioned. My brain works to please and protect my master, without me actually having to think. I used to find it disturbing. Now I'm used to it. Charlie doesn't believe Maxime. It's written all over his face. But that's good. This is Maxime's trick with me. I have always been the element of surprise for his enemies.
"And your parents?"
Charlie says, still frowning at me. I don't show my confusion to that question. I just look at him.
Charlie, I'm not talking to you, am I?"
Charlie cuts Maxime off, dead. My heart drops like a boulder.
"Don't you understand me, girl?"
Charlie says.
"Where are your parents? I won't repeat myself again."
I don't know how to respond, so I keep my mouth shut. But Maksim thumps the desk, snapping, "Answer him, Blair." I cringe as he uses my name, muttering, "I only have Cop Maksim." Silence. Charlie's glancing between us, an air of frustration on his face.
"Where are her parents?"
he demands to know, leveling his attention on Maksim.
"Dead? Did they sell her to you? Where are they?"
My eyes flitter between them, and I'm beyond confused. I don't get why he's being so ascetic all of a sudden, or why he'd want to know if I have parents. What does that matter? Maksim manages to give Charlie another curt head shake, which Charlie also understands. The next questions are sharp and snappy, like the tension that's now in the room. Charlie states my address in London and asks,
"Is that where you live?"
I nod.
"Alone?"
I nod again, keeping it brief.
"Is the apartment yours?"
He raises his eyebrows at me, making his blue eyes seem wider. I nod a third time.
"And you drove here tonight, on your own?"
He gestures at the office door with a large, steady hand.
"You have your own car?"
What kind of a question is that? What's it to him if I live alone or if I own my own car?
"Yes, the car is hers,"
Maksim answers for me, though he doesn't gain Charlie's attention. He is still looking at me.
"I have her on the payroll,"
Maksim explains.
"She's not a prisoner like the rest." "Is that right?"
Charlie sounds like he's stuck in thought, while his eyes flicker all over my deadpan face.
"So, you trust her completely?"
He breaks eye contact with me to focus on Maksim.
"Because if you have any doubts, I can't risk having sloppy workers on the job."
Maksim doesn't hesitate. He says a powerful,
"With my life."
Then it's quiet again. Why do I feel like I'm being interviewed for something?
"Okay,"
says Charlie eventually, nodding to himself. He then summons my attention by rasping out my name.
"Maksim tells me you can hack into any computer system, no hay problema."
Bingo. He is interviewing me.
"You can answer him,"
Maksim says. So I nod, my hands still firmly folded behind my back.
"How can you do that?"
asks Charlie.
"My friend,"
Maksim butts in, clearing his throat.
"the details are better left unsaid. Just know that my little pet is masterful at—" "I'll decide what details are better left unsaid,"
Charlie says. Sitting forward, he puts his elbows on his knees and narrows his blue eyes at Maksim.
"I'll consider pardoning things that might make this girl feel uncomfortable, but you'll tell me the finer details."
His square jaw ticks, though when he stares up at me, that anger in his face vanishes.
"How can you do that, Blair?"
I spent 3 years in a room with books, codes, and computers, I say without thinking, and bizarrely without Maksim's permission. I taught myself the things I know. Charlie gives Maksim a baffled look, wrinkling his nose.
"She actually thinks she became a hacker in 3 years?"
No one answers him, and he runs a hand through his thick black hair, ruffling the strands at the back of his neck.
"Come on, don't try to take the piss out of me."
Maksim's face tightens with what almost looks like fear? No, can't be. He shakes his head at Charlie again.
"All right."
Charlie lifts a hand, understanding Maksim's expression. Is he hiding something from me? Why won't he just tell Charlie that he bought me from a man in Russia, or insist it's none of his business? Digging into his jeans back pocket, Charlie pulls out a piece of paper and proffers it to me between scissored fingers. I glance at Maksim. He signals for me to take the paper, so I reach for it. I briefly touch Charlie's fingers in the process, and a warm, tingly sensation spreads through my body, causing me to snatch back my hand, and without the paper. Our eyes meet in a moment of dead quietness, with his glowing like he knows what I just felt. Everything around me becomes non-existent. Even Maksim fades into the background, and I just look at this man who's invading our personal space with pure perplexity. He doesn't look away or blink, just stares right through my fucking soul. A pool of anxiety coils inside me, making my toes curl in my trainers. I have a dark feeling he's going to turn the world as I know it upside down.
It's the latest in technology for a certain CCTV system,
he says softly, insisting I take the paper from him.
Here you go.
To break whatever the fuck this is, I pinch the paper out of his fingers and scan the notes written down, mentally willing my heart rate to calm. It's the details for London's closed-circuit television system.
Can you shut that down for 15 minutes?
Charlie asks, his voice still unexplainably soft. I've entered this system a few times before, as Maksim likes to know that he can control a city if trouble breaks out.
Can you shut it down, my little pet?
Maksim says. I can shut this down for 4, maybe 5 minutes before I get locked out. I lean over to give Charlie back the piece of paper, avoiding his touch and his eyes. I have the contents of the note now stored in my memory. Charlie shakes his head, screwing up the paper in a large hand before tossing it across the office.
I need 15 minutes.
He exercises his eyes on Maksim, who seems a little uncomfortable, pulling open the top buttons of his shirt.
You said the redhead could get me 15 minutes. I need my 15 minutes.
His tone makes my hackles come up hard, and my protective instincts kick in. I step closer to Maksim's desk, zoning into myself. I have to protect Maksim. I have to ensure nothing happens to him. Maksim is all that matters. And above all, no one talks to my master with such contempt. No one. I center my attention on the enemy. He's glaring at Maksim with his nostrils flaring, unbothered by my change in persona.
Can you do it, my little pet?
Maksim says in a rush of words, visibly nervous with deep swallows.
Can you get the 15 minutes?
I'll need a few weeks, I whisper. I actually need more than a few weeks, but I'll tell Maksim that over the phone. At least this way, if he gets mad at me, I have time to mentally prepare. Mad Maksim doesn't bode well for my ass. Charlie nods. Then Maksim tells me 2 weeks is fine, that there is no room for error.
Don't run over schedule, my little pet. You know what will happen if you do.
I won't, I say, as I do know what will happen all too well. Just as quickly as it bloomed, the tension in the room vanishes, though I stay by Maksim's desk to ensure his safety. Charlie pulls another piece of paper from his jeans back pocket.
For Maksim, please, give it to him.
Maksim gives me the okay, so I take it from Charlie and put it on the desk.
That's a dark web link. Don't lose it.
Charlie gestures out.
To contact me, the password is Guzman de Sena.
He follows with saying out each letter of the password, like we're fucking dyslexic or something.
Keep me updated regarding Blair and the job, comprende? You can email me anytime, and I'll get back to you within the hour.
Regarding Blair and the job, why would he need to be updated about me?
Of course, my friend.
Maksim touches his chest in a deceivingly composed approach.
Of course.
I feel Charlie is looking at me again, and my anxiety spikes when he asks,
Will Blair be attending Rumo's poker game next weekend?
A few seconds of edgy silence pass through us. Then Maksim says,
She will be?
He smiles at me with an agenda, excitement gleaming in his eyes.
I might even put on a little show for you.
Charlie doesn't understand, so Maksim explains that he sometimes has me fight for entertainment.
Like I said a moment ago, she's a beauty in battle.
Chills run down my spine because I know what's going to happen. I know who he'll make me fight.
You will come to the poker game, won't you, Charlie? You will come watch her fight? Oh, I wouldn't miss it.
My stomach twists.
Good. Very good, my friend.
While I stand here staring ahead impassively as not to draw attention to the fact that I'm sweating bullets, they start chatting about what's been going on in London over the past 6 years, which isn't much short of sex, crime, and murder. Charlie doesn't sound impressed as Maksim blathers on about his power in Western Europe. Seeming to have heard enough, he cuts Maksim off mid-sentence to say he needs to go.
Time's getting on.
That's when Maksim focuses on me.
Do you have any questions before you go, my little pet? Is there anything you need?
No, I whisper, devoid of emotion.
I guess we're all done here then.
He reaches over to shake hands with Charlie, making his chair creak under his weight.
It's good to see you again, my friend.
Nodding once, Charlie stands and fixes the hem of his t-shirt over his jeans. He's really tall, I'd say at least 6'2", and he's bigger than I thought, with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and hard muscles stretching under dark olive skin. He looks like a Spanish soldier.
If you're heading back to London, Blair,
my name rolls off his tongue like satin.
I'll get a lift with you.
What? My heart does this weird doubling over thing. I whip my eyes from Charlie to Maksim, who strangely nods.
You will have to forgive my little pet's attitude, as I am sure you will learn she has.
Maksim chuckles under his breath.
She's as arrogant as a redhead comes.
Charlie laughs too, clearly amused.
I can handle one small girl, no matter how arrogant she might be. Don't worry about that.
My stomach is sinking, thinking this is a test. It has to be. Maksim would never leave me alone with another man. Ignorant to my apprehension, Maksim tells me that I must be polite to Charlie, that I'm not allowed to fight him. It isn't a request, it's an order.
You can speak to him, also, just not about me.
Of course, I say, head bowing to my master, hiding the fact that my anxiety is going through the roof. Chapter 2. After bidding Maksim good night, I lead the way out of the club with Charlie Desena hot on my heels. The place is still booming with music and perverts littering the naked strippers in pound bills, chanting, "Take it off, take it off." I'm surprised Charlie doesn't want to stay and have a nice European girl for himself, given they're likely free for him. Any normal man would stay. At the exit, I nod to bid the doorman goodbye and steal out into the cold night, beneath a cloaking black sky sparkling in stars. My silver Porsche is by a flickering streetlight at the end of the parking lot. I open it using the key in my pocket, making it flash 3 times with a low, deep beep.
This is a nice car for such a young girl,
Charlie says, walking past me to open the driver's door. He rests his forearm there and looks down on me, head slightly cocked.
Did Maksim buy it for you, or did you buy it for yourself?
Maksim. I grunt under my breath. That's so fucking disrespectful. It's Maksim Markov to him, and those considered friends or work acquaintances. "Do you want to drive or something?" I ask, arching my neck back to squint up at him. Charlie tips his head to the other side, with his eyes glancing back and forth between mine.
"Why do you ask that?"
I gesture at my car. "You're holding my door open." He laughs, flashing even white teeth.
"'Tis called manners, señorita."
My face twists with perplexity. Holding my door open is considered manners?
"In you get."
He nods at my car, amusement glittering in his eyes. I stare him out, baffled, to say the least. He looks a bit different up close, more, I don't know, beautiful? No, handsome. He's too masculine to be beautiful. His lips are perfect, the lower fuller than the top. His cheekbones are sharp and high, and his eyes are deep set, a lagoon blue in this light. For a second, I forget why I was staring at him.
"Do you want me to drive?"
He nods at my car again without breaking eye contact.
"I can if you want. I know where you live."
I scoff at the audacity of him, sink into the plush leather, and yank my door shut. He's laughing as he walks around to the passenger side, but I don't get what he finds so funny. Pressing the power button, I fire up the engine, revving to warm it up. Charlie settles in the passenger seat, sliding it back to give his long legs some room. I immediately notice he smells sweet and musky, a weird scent for a man, but bizarrely appealing, bizarrely nice. A quick glance and he catches me staring. My heart almost jumps out of my chest, but I save face by telling him, "Put on your seatbelt, and then we can go." He pulls it across his chest and plugs it in, as I shift in gear to reverse out of the parking lot, heading down a bumpy country lane. He is blatantly watching me, though he doesn't speak for a while. So I flick on the radio to drown out our silence and check the rearview mirror, clocking twin SUVs on our shadow with blinding headlights. They look suspicious with heavily tinted windows, both going at the same speed. Maintaining my eyes on them, I drive carefully as not to draw attention. But as I turn off to hit the clear highway, they follow us. I press on the throttle to speed out of Dartford, keeping one hand near my gun in my inside jacket pocket, my other on the wheel.
"What's wrong, Blair?"
"I think we're being followed," I say, reaching 100 miles per hour, dodging what cars are on the road. "Have you got a gun?"
"Have I got a gun?"
Charlie laughs, and when I look at him, he smiles.
"Relajarse," he says, "relax. It's just my men. No need for guns."
What? I drop a gear to slow the pace. "If you have men with cars, why did you ask me for a lift?" He doesn't answer my question, which I don't like. He diverts with,
"How long have you known Maksim?"
"Maksim Markov to you. It really bothers me that he addresses my master like this." "That's none of your business," I say, and my voice comes out surprisingly calm.
"Well, I'm making it my business. How long?"
Huffing, I try not to react to his cool, dominant approach, though it's hard. I want to punch his lights out because he's so fucking conceited. "I cannot comment without his permission," I say in a flat tone. Charlie laughs at me again, though in a more mocking fashion.
"You know, in all the years I've known your boss, you're the first of his girls I've seen off a leash."
Reaching over, he grabs my seat headrest, forcing intimacy. I shift over in my seat, a little uncomfortable. I can feel the warmth of his large body at my side.
"Maksim must really trust you,"
he whispers, checking me out with obvious lust. I don't say anything in response. Of course Maksim trusts me. I'm his most trusted devotee. In our silence, I glance at Charlie a few times because I sense he's still staring at me with stark concentration. I wish he'd stop. I'm already on guard, and he's making the whole ordeal 10 times worse with that penetrating gaze. As a distraction, I turn up the radio.
What are you allowed to say,
He breaks our silence, turning the radio down, but I shrug, steering off the highway for London.
Okay. How fast does your car go?
Silence.
You can answer me that, surely.
He sounds like he's being sarcastic.
Maxime said you can speak to me.
0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. I give in, just to shut him up.
And the color, did you pick it? Did you upgrade to all the extras?
I scowl harder than before, aware of what he's doing. Though his questions might seem ordinary, they're not. He's trying to get me talking by luring me into a false sense of security.
You can glare all you like, señorita,
he teases, insisting he'll keep asking things until I answer.
I'm a persistent man, as I'm sure you're realizing.
What is with you, Desena? Why are you asking me these stupid, mundane questions? My heart stutters with panic. Maxime said to be polite. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's all right.
Charlie shrugs with one shoulder, still holding my headrest.
You can ask me a question if you want.
He pauses, then leans a little closer and whispers down my spine.
I won't tell Maxime. Puede ser nuestro secreto.
Can be our secret. I look at him for as long as I can, wondering why he's speaking to me in Spanish. But then I have to center my attention on the road, on the cars. Why are you asking me these questions? I reiterate, without wavering this time. What's with the whole Spanish Inquisition? What's your game?
The Spanish Inquisition, huh?
A wide grin spreads across his face.
I'm curious about you, Blair,
he says.
Even more so now.
I pull a funny face, puzzled, and he elaborates.
You don't wear a leash. You live outside of Maxime's house. You can apparently put up a good fight. You're educated.
The list of compliments is endless. I don't ask why he's curious. I don't want to give him the satisfaction of my own curiosity.
It seems Maxime wasn't lying when he told me you've got a bad attitude,
Charlie says, chuckling to himself. His voice is so deep when he laughs like that, almost mesmerizing. Almost.
I'm not gonna get anything out of you yet, am I?
Yet? What makes him think he'll ever get anything out of me? No, I say, you're not. He doesn't ask much more now, just wants to know if I like living on my own, that kind of thing. I shake, nod, and shrug a few times, but I don't actually answer his questions. Where would you like me to drop you off? I say when we're driving past my apartment building, curb crawling the River Thames.
Since we're by your place, he unbuckles his seatbelt. Here will do.
I pull over with a sharp stop, making us both jolt forward, desperate to get him out of my fucking car. But he doesn't seem to be in a rush to leave. Smirking, he rests back and gives my body the once-over, his eyes hooded and full of zest.
Maybe I'll stop by your apartment over the next 2 weeks to say hi.
I wouldn't bother. I won't answer the door to you. He flicks up his eyebrows.
Sure you won't.
I snort, thinking he's such an asshole. Then shifting in first gear with one foot on the brake, I toe the throttle a few times as a hint. He finally gets out of the car, but he doesn't shut the door. Much to my frustration, he lingers, leaning down to look at me once more. Silky black strands fall around his diamond blue eyes, enhancing the intense, thoughtful expression on his face. It's weird, like he's weighing me up for whatever reason. I thought you said you had to leave, I say, speaking softer than I intended. Time's getting on, isn't it?
I've always got time for a pretty girl.
He winks, and I glance away in a fluster, hating that my stomach ties up in knots. In fact, I hate him. I hate the way he talks to me, and the way he looks at me, as if he's mentally taking off my clothes. It's so personal.
I'll see you very soon, Blair.
He rasps a promise, then clicks the door shut, and his large, muscular body disappears into the city, sauntering at a relaxed pace, as if he has all the time in the world to get to his destination. When I can gather my wits after enduring Charlie Desena, I stare into the underground parking lot of my apartment building. My phone buzzes in my jacket pocket, so I pull it out and find James is calling. He's a friend of mine. I've known him since before I can remember. He plays a role much like mine with Maksim, security and devotee, but he doesn't reap luxury like a personal car and an apartment. He drives a supplied security SUV, as all the other men do, and lives in Maksim's attic, because Maksim doesn't trust him like he does me. That's never affected my opinion of James, though. He is one of the good guys. I've lost count of how many times he's taken a beating trying to protect me from our master. How many times he's let Maksim fuck him in an effort to ensure he doesn't fuck me. Have you spoken to Maksim? I step out of my car and lock it with the key, making the beeps echo through the eerie car park.
He just rang me about some guy called Charlie,
James says, his Russian accent soft and husky.
He wants me to beef up security.
Beef up security? My eyebrows snap together. Did he say why?
No, it was a brief call, and I wasn't about to start asking questions. Who is this Charlie?
I have no idea. I relax against my car, poking my chin with the key in amusing fashion. Maksim is nervous around him, though. I've never seen him so. I don't know. Charlie kept cutting him off from talking, and Maksim just let him.
What?
Yeah, I was nervous, too. That man makes me feel... I lose my voice, as there are no words to describe how Charlie made me feel.
You were nervous?
James's voice goes up a notch.
But you don't get nervous about anything.
If you ever meet Charlie, you'll understand. The way he looked at me in front of Maksim, the way he spoke to me. I get chills just thinking about it. He said, and I quote, "I've always wondered about redheads," like he was fantasizing or something.
Seriously? And Maksim did nothing?
To answer, I go right into detail about how much authority Charlie had over our master, how he insisted I drop him off, even while he had drivers at hand. Before that, though, he interviewed me for a job by asking the oddest questions.
What questions?
He wanted to know if I lived alone and if I drove my own car. It was ages before he asked about my skills.
He's up to no good, that's why,
James says, with his feet thudding against the floorboards in the background. His attic living quarters is empty of things other than his bed and a wardrobe. It heightens the slightest of sounds. I think so, I say. I get that impression.
Shit,
he curses.
Keep your wits about you, Blair. If Maksim is getting involved with people he's nervous about, it doesn't bode well for us.
I know it doesn't. I nod at the empty parking lot. I know. Whenever Maksim gets in trouble with his dodgy dealings, one of us, his arsenals, takes the fall. It's always been this way.
What job do they have you on exactly? Are you whacking someone? Do you need my help with anything?
No, it's nothing like that. I tell him about the job in great detail since Maksim lets us discuss things with each other. While James isn't much of a hacker, he's a good fighter, almost as good as me. That's why he offered himself up to help. You could only get like 4 or 5 minutes the last time, couldn't you? He says, referring to my access to London's CCTV system. But I wasn't about to tell Maxime that face to face. I sound almost defeated because I am. It's going to be mentally taxing trying to grasp more time. No, I understand. James sighs in sympathy. Just try and get his 15 minutes. Try. If you can't, before you confess to Maxime that you've failed, call me and I'll come over to your place, okay? Don't tell him anything while you're on your own. My heart bleeds for this guy. There's nothing he wouldn't endure if it means he can spare me from pain. Thanks, James. I say, blank of emotion, but I'd never deliberately put him in the line of fire. I have to go. I shove my keys in my jacket pocket and head for the private elevator that leads up to my apartment. I'll speak to you soon. Chapter 3. For the next week, in my London apartment that overlooks a grey River Thames, I test myself to the limit. I eat plain foods to prevent feeling lethargic and scarcely sleep for 5 hours a night because my mind is on overdrive. I give up on the hypnopedia, learning while asleep via a recorder, because I can't handle the overload of studying. In my personal gym upstairs, I execute my usual combat routine for 4 hours a day, which steals time away from work, but I must train physically. Maxime would kill me if I let myself slip. It could cost him his life. I work on attaining the 15 minutes in the dark computer room at the back of my apartment. It's hidden behind fake paneled walls, set up with 10 computer screens hanging on the back wall in 2 rows. They offer the only source of light in here. They glow over my freckly face as I sit at the floating desk, where all my equipment is, keyboards, black boxes, and other useful gadgets that help me safely link to the dark web. I work like a dog, morning and night, occasionally nodding off in the wide office chair. By day 4, I managed to gain access to London's CCTV for a maximum of 11 minutes. I can control the traffic lights, certain security gates, and the city cameras, but I cannot get a hold of more than 11 minutes. The system locks me out. Sweaty, hungry for real food, and frazzled to the max, I rub my forehead. Then I bash at the keyboard keys to put glitches in London's CCTV system, working through another night. Now I have 1 week and 1 day left to train, and to add to my worry, work commitments over the weekends set me back. I don't have any other choice but to accept what is, though, as I'm on Maxime's security detail, and his life comes before mine. Friday night, James and I watch his back while he parties ruthlessly at a mansion in Kensington Palace Gardens. The mansion belongs to some Asian prince who is largely in the public eye, but the public knows nothing of his taste for young girls and sex shows. They know only what the media allows them to know. By 10 o'clock, the party becomes hard to stomach, like most of the parties Maxime attends, because the prince has a willing little Albanian brunette on all fours in the middle of his glorious ballroom. She's getting whipped before being fucked by a man in a black leather mask. Their flesh slaps together so hard I can feel it. A collection of suits line the walls, waiting for their turn. Some of the onlookers masturbate, while the rest get their cocks sucked by their sex slaves, who are firmly on leashes, until it's their turn to fuck the Albanian girl. James and I remain behind Maxime with our eyes ahead, clasping guns over our laps. Maxime is in seventh heaven, especially when the prince offers him a cocksucker. The sound of the tiny blonde choking against his cock turns my stomach inside out as he refuses to let her breathe by blocking her air passage. And to make matters worse, The godforsaken fuck show goes on until early hours of the morning, the ornate ballroom whispering with soft piano music. The music isn't loud enough to drown out her cries of pain, though, nor the men's moans of satisfaction, as they each have a go on her. Deep moans that remind me of Maksim when he makes me please him. Internally, I'm beyond uncomfortable. On the outside, I must look as cold as ice. The show gets even harder to stomach when Maksim takes over. He belts the Albanian girl to the point where her back splits and bleeds, before drilling her from behind. In a moment of raw intoxication, he presses her face into the floor and looks me right in the eyes. It's like everything and everyone in the room evaporates, the earth closing in on me. I go stiff, my chest so tight that I can just about breathe. I don't know whether to look away or not. He's never done this before. He doesn't look away. He smiles at me with wickedness and takes the girl slowly, holding her hips like he's caressing her. He hums with delight, his eyes hazy and full of lust. I stare ahead, blinking above him, trying to avoid the devil's eye. Then he fucks her with everything he has, making her squeal, skin smacking against skin. I sense it when James glances down at me, then he steps a little closer and puts us arm to arm.
"Don't worry," he whispers. "I won't let him do that to you."
Though I appreciate his promise, it's empty. If Maksim wanted to do that to me, no one could stop him. "Everyone, stay where you are," an American Latino guy shouts over the party, drawing my attention.
"If you move before we state otherwise, we'll shoot,"
another Latino yells.
"Girls, get your fucking clothes on."
On alert, I glance about to assess the level of danger, as does James. A group of combat-suited men are storming the ballroom with guns, and once they've got every man looking down their barrels, Charlie marches in.
"Stop,"
he yells at Maksim, his blue eyes blazing with anger. He's holding a blanket in one hand, a large silver gun in his other. My heart drops. I watch in dismay as the naked sex slaves scatter like rats to get dressed, tripping over their dresses. One guy orders them to line up against the back wall and starts handing out bottles of water from the duffel bag he's holding. Maksim staggers off the Albanian girl he's fucking and fastens his trousers. His cheeks are tinted red with lust, golden eyes scorching in the same debauched emotion.
"What is going on?"
the Asian prince asks in terrible English, wandering around in a drug-infused state of confusion. My eyes flitter to Charlie as he quietly consults with the combats. His large, muscular body is clad in jeans over black boots and a black long-sleeved sweater, rather casual attire considering his men look ready for war.
"That's Charlie DeSena,"
I whisper to James, and he loads his gun. I pull back the hammer on my gun, too, and step forward for Maksim. James catches my elbow, making me stumble to a stop.
"What are you doing?"
I hiss, tugging to get free.
"Let me go." "Stay here. He's got over 20 men."
I gawk up at James in panic, then at Maksim, who is now face to face with Charlie in the middle of the room, and then I gawk back up at James.
"We can't just leave, Maksim." "We don't want to start something if we can avoid it,"
James says, his eyes trained on the situation.
"I've heard a rumor Charlie DeSena doesn't enjoy things like this, so he's probably just putting a stop to the show."
"How do you know that?" I ask, drawing in my eyebrows.
"What's the problem, though, my friend?"
Maksim says, gaining my attention.
"You've attended many parties like this before."
There's a moment of dangerous silence as Charlie towers over Maksim, tapering dominant blue eyes.
"This is my problem.
He drops the blanket he's holding over the girl Maxime just fucked. She's panting for dear life, understandably bested after being whipped and screwed by at least 10 men, so of course I'm stunned when she says, "Why are you stopping the show?" She's gazing up at Charlie through scraps of chocolate-brown hair. "Who are you?" James and I look at each other, and then ahead at Charlie. He passes the gun he's holding to his right-hand man and crouches to the girl, elbows on his knees. "You're Ariana, is that right?" he says, stroking her hair back out of her face. She nods, an air of vulnerability coming over her. "How do you know my name?" she says, descending into her shoulders. She's veiled in sweat and looks weak with trembling limbs. He whispers something to her, his face soft and welcoming, and then wraps up her tiny naked frame in the blanket. What the fuck is going on? "Blair," James says quietly. "Does he have dealings with the Albanians?" I don't know," I stutter, trying to filter what's happening. Charlie tucks one arm under the Albanian girl's knees, the other behind her shoulders, and lifts her into his strong arms. She huddles against him, seeming glad that he's here. "Any more of this bullshit?" he warns and leisurely pivots around, using the girl as a demonstration. "And we're all gonna have a problem. Especially you, falso prince." He continues to scrutinize everyone, then his attention lands on me. His pale eyes widen, and for a second time tonight, I don't know where to look. "Charlie," Maxime says, ruffling his damp hair. "The girl is old enough, and she's a willing participant. Tell him, Ariana." He points out to her. "Willing participant?" Charlie walks up to my master with the girl, hunched at the neck. "I just told you, she's stolen property. You of all people should know better than to fuck with the Albanians." "She is payment for a debt owed to me," the prince says, lifting his chin in an attempt to look proud. "Debts or no debts?" Charlie stalks over to the prince, who cowers in his camise. "We can all find ways to please ourselves without beating and gang-banging an 18-year-old girl." There's something eerie in the way Charlie is looking at the prince. "Fuck her in a more private setting next time, or find an older participant, as you so nicely put it," he says to Maxime, and he stalks back over to him while holding that girl like she barely outweighs a bag of sugar. "I mean, I'm all for a bit of sadism, but this is bullshit." "It is just some fun," the prince says, lifting his shoulders in a shrug. "Fun?" Charlie raises his eyebrows and turns to his coward audience. "Maybe I should get all your wives here and have my men belt them and gangbang them for so long that their flesh shakes. How would you all like that?" The ballroom is in quiet shock, and I'm just about to pass out with it when Charlie tells Maxime, "Send Blair home now. She doesn't need to see this." The prince arches an eyebrow, flabbergasted by Charlie's audacity. Maxime is stunned and humiliated, stuttering to defend himself, but nothing worthy comes out. "You'll have her on all fours next," Charlie continues, belittling my master, shaking his head at me in disgust. "Getting fucked by this brainless lot." I feel a surge of rage go through James, and he steps forward for Charlie. The 5 men who are Charlie's armor lift their guns in our direction, so I grab the back of James's sweater to stop him, my heart drumming in my ears. Charlie isn't bothered by James's attempt, and why would he be? He's got an arsenal. He shakes his head at me again, pity burning in his eyes. "Since when did men start having young girls protect them, huh?" Before anyone can answer him, he turns away with the girl in his arms and leaves just as quickly as he came. His men follow out the double doors like a pack of wolves, and they shut us in. No one is sure what to do. We're all just glancing at each other. But then Maxime rushes after Charlie, telling the Asian prince,
I need to make sure there's no tension after this. That was Charlie de Sena.
The prince's face turns white.
What the hell was that all about?
James says under his breath, his eyes glued to the exit doors.
And why doesn't he address Maxime properly?
I have no idea, I say, dismayed by Charlie's bizarre act of kindness to save that girl. Voices break through the silence, discussing Charlie and what he's just done. Some know who he is, others don't. I try to listen in. I want to know who he is. But Maxime returns. He marches up to me, his expression tight with nerves.
Go home, now,
he orders in Russian.
I'll call you if I need you.
What?
Do not stop to talk to anyone,
he says in a charge of Russian words. He can't seem to relax, looking back and forth between the exit doors and me.
Just get in your car and leave.
I'm paralyzed with confusion. James nudges me onward. Maxime grips my arm so tight I can feel his fingers digging into my flesh, even through my combat sweater.
Get a move on.
I don't question him, even while I know this is out of character. He's never ordered me to leave before. Putting my head down, I walk through the murmuring ballroom, sort of thankful that I no longer have to endure the party. What Charlie saw is nothing. It'll get darker as the night goes on. Chapter 4. Saturday, and it's work as usual. I pick up Maxime from his house and drive him to his friend Rumo's country manor. They play cards there once a month, but they always play on different days and times. Men like my master don't have routines. They say routines make them easy targets for their adversaries. Maxime is on the phone throughout the drive, arranging a place for a few trafficked girls, so I don't have to endure a conversation with him. I'm glad. After coming eye to eye with him last night while he was fucking with that girl, I'll admit I'm a little nervous. There was something in the way he stared at me, in the way he touched that girl while staring at me. Maxime hangs up the call as we pull up on Rumo's paved driveway. It's illuminated with floodlights. They're so bright that I have to squint. The red brick house before us is a fortress with black iron bars covering the sash windows and a red laser security system surrounding the dwelling. 2 SUVs pull up around us, the rest of Maxime's security detail. No one can get to him without a war. In the cold, I help him out of my car by opening his door. I bow my head, clasping a heavy gun in one hand.
You look lovely this evening, my little pet,
he says in Russian, grinning at me with a cunning gleam in his eyes.
I haven't had a chance to tell you.
He looks good, too, in a sharp gray suit against a white shirt under a knee-length black coat, his long brown hair curtaining his hard face. He smells nice, like something spicy. It makes my nose tickle as the night breezes against my face. I don't thank him for his compliment, nor do I smile. I just bow a second time.
Have you heard anything from Charlie de Sena?
He asks, tipping his head.
After last night, I mean.
I nearly frown, peering up at him with innocent eyes. No, Cap Maxime. He studies me for a moment, scanning my expression.
So he hasn't been to your apartment?
His golden eyes widen for an answer.
I know he fancies you.
What? No. Of course he hasn't been to my apartment. I would have told you. You know I wouldn't.
Okay.
Lifting a hand, he cuts me off.
That is good, I guess.
He scratches his stubbly chin, and I cringe at the sound of his bristly beard grating against his nails.
But he's up to something. I just know it. I don't get why he's come to me for help on a job."
He goes on and on about his confusion over Charlie's agenda, saying what he did at the prince's party wasn't him.
"Desina wouldn't do something so thoughtful."
It isn't just me who thinks he's up to no good. That makes me anxious, and the fact that Maksim is questioning me over my loyalty makes me even more anxious. He should know I'd never keep anything from him. I'm sweating in my uniform.
"What did you talk about when you gave him a lift to London?"
Maksim asks.
"Did he want to know anything about me?"
No hesitation, I spill my guts about the useless questions Charlie directed at me. He waffled on about my car and how fast it goes, the color. I tell him everything, making sure I leave nothing to chance. James appears from one of the SUVs and I almost gasp out with relief. Maksim will focus on him for a moment.
"Ah,"
Maksim breathes out with a broad smile, turning his attention to James.
"He's here."
Wearing a black combat outfit just like I am, James walks up to us with steady composure and bows, touching his chest.
"Hello, my pet,"
Maksim husks. He calls us both his pets. However, I'm his little pet.
"Evening, Cup Maksim,"
James says, his Russian-spiced accent deep and level.
"How are you this evening?"
says our master, his eyes flaring with something that a man shouldn't express to another man. James answers as courteous as ever with,
"I'm great, thank you."
We never return Maksim's gestures. We're not allowed to. He doesn't like having to explain his moods. Not that he needs to. I can sense his moods a mile away. Tonight, he's thriving.
"Good, good."
Maksim claps, grinning from ear to ear.
"Well, let us get on with this evening. My best vodka is inside waiting for me."
I internally shake my head. He drinks far too much. Our master turns for the house and James gently catches my hand. He gives me a squeeze, causing me to peer up at him. He flashes his most affectionate smile, mouthing, "Are you okay?" Nodding, I smile back. Then we enter the house without an invitation. James walks on Maksim's left, while I walk on his right, both with a gun in hand. Maksim hides his away in his knee-length coat. Though we're amongst friends, we're not at the same time. In this game, no one ever has a true friend. The entrance hall boasts gleaming black and white marble floors, oak double doors on each wall, and a huge white piano tucked away under the arch of the staircase on the right.
"Maksim Markov,"
Rumo greets from the furthest doorway that leads into the snooker room.
"You made it."
Smiling like the devil himself, Maksim heads for Rumo while extending a hand.
"I am much looking forward to this evening's events, my friend." "Oh, you should be, you should be."
Rumo clasps Maksim's hand.
"I bought a new poker table, as you requested. The chairs are a lot more comfortable, and the table is softer."
Maksim nods a few times, chanting that he's glad.
"When we can afford luxury, why skimp on the finer details like a poker table?"
Entering the snooker room, they babble on about some Albanian business. James and I follow them in. The brass lights hanging from the ceiling are dazzling, reflecting on the dark-paneled walls in burnt orange tones. Behind the mammoth snooker table that commands the space, there is a poker table which can seat 6. They always play poker in this room. I've never seen any other part of the house. Carl and Umberto await patiently, already sitting at the soft green table. Umberto greets Maksim from a distance with cool esteem. Carl simply nods. Mucky cigar smoke clouds the air in streams of grays and browns. It stinks. I hate the smell of cigars. I don't get the fascination with smoking. James and I stay within touching distance of Maksim when he sits at the head of the poker table, draping his coat over the back of his chair.
"I hear you have Charlie on side, Maksim Markov?"
Carl says in awful Spanish-tinted English, flicking the head of his cigar in a crystal ashtray.
That's right, my friend.
Even after what happened?
Umberto asks. Maxime nods, scissoring a Cuban cigar between his fingers.
Yes, he forgives me.
Forgives him? For what? James and I glance at each other.
Just like that?
Umberto pulls his thin gray eyebrows together.
You don't think that's odd?
Maxime laughs under his breath, biting off the end of his cigar.
Charlie isn't the kind of man to beat around the bush. Is he, Carl?
Carl doesn't respond to that sarcastic, directed question. He doesn't even address Maxime.
Besides,
Maxime continues,
it is always good to have such a powerful man as a friend. Wouldn't you all agree?
They go into a full-blown tete-a-tete over Charlie and what he's about, loyalty mostly. I come to understand that nothing else really matters to him. I also come to understand that Maxime double-crossed him on some job a few years back. I gulp at this point. Rumo leans forward, staring at my master.
Just don't cross him again, Maxim Markov. You know what he is capable of. You know he gears himself up with at least 20 armed men wherever he goes. And I can't get involved. I don't want to die.
I know, my friend.
Maxime squeezes Rumo's shoulder.
I understand.
He then grabs his crotch under the table.
Anyhow, why would I double-cross him again? I like my balls attached to my body.
They all laugh out loud. Well, everyone but Carl laughs. This is strange. I've noticed before that Carl isn't Maxime's biggest fan, as has James, but his dislike for Maxime is coming off him in waves tonight. A tiny blonde girl wearing a red underwear set and shiny red stockings enters the room. She fills the men's glasses on the table. Umberto says he will fuck her after the game, emphasizing that he's going to whip her. She flinches when he smacks her ass with an open palm, and I drop my eyes to the floor. I will admit, I do feel a pang of pity for her, but it's not my job to save girls like her, as much as I wish I could, as much as I know I could. I'd slaughter this lot in minutes with my own 2 hands if I was allowed. James gently touches my hand, and I straighten, coming across deadpan.
5-card draw?
Rumo says after the girl leaves, and everyone agrees. So they play cards, chatting lightly about girls they've abused and the wives they wish they could abuse. James and I keep quiet for the next 2 hours, antipathy radiating through us. We don't agree with what they do to girls. We have sneakily spoken about what we've seen and heard, but neither of us really knows what to make of it. We don't share their fancy for abuse, but we know nothing else, since we were so young when we came to Maxime. Once, James actually asked if he was wired wrong, because he cannot bear to see girls getting mistreated, even if they do consent at times. He doesn't understand why Maxime enjoys being brutal. I couldn't give James an even answer. I don't know if he's wired right or wrong. I know what I feel. In my opinion, what they do is immoral. But this sentiment only came over me when Maxime granted me freedom. Since then, I've lived in the world, amongst the normal, and with television and books. James has only ever lived under our master. He's never tasted what normal might be, or felt the satisfaction of freedom that comes with living alone.
Charlie spoiled our fun,
Maxime says, and the mere mention of that man's name pulls me from my thoughts.
And he was mad as hell. I swear, if anyone questioned his actions, he would have shot us all.
He must be talking about the prince's party last night.
I heard about what happened.
Umberto lifts a glass to have a sip of vodka.
The gossip has spread like wildfire. Glad I wasn't there. I know how excited this Anna can get when angry.
Carl comes to life, telling stories about Charlie in his younger years.
If anyone so much as attempted to pull a gun on him, they'd be dead. He doesn't fuck about.
I grip my gun a little tighter, anxious, because Charlie said he was coming to this poker game. Hopefully he's changed his mind.
Do not worry, my friends.
Maxime lifts a hand, grinning from ear to ear.
I straightened things out. He wanted me to send Blair home last night, so I did.
My stomach rolls with shock. James gulps down at me.
And luckily, Maxime adds, that girl we were fucking was old enough and willing to let us abuse her.
Yeah, luckily,
Charlie says from the open doorway, gaining everyone's attention. My eyes flicker to him, and an overwhelming tightness forms in my chest. He's leaning against the doorframe on one shoulder, arms crossed over a strapping chest. He looks cool in his pose, wearing a black shirt tucked into dark blue jeans, the collar unbuttoned to show a hard, dusty chest. The sleeves are rolled up to his elbows, revealing tan, muscular forearms, covered in black hair and thick veins. He's got that silver watch on his left wrist, a minute statement of money. Our eyes align for a split second, as he flashes me a cunning smile, showing even white teeth. I'm the one to look away, unable to endure his presence.
Hola, Charlie.
Carl pivots to him from the table.
Where have you been? We expected you hours ago.
Uncrossing his arms, Charlie saunters in and around the snooker table, his motions oddly graceful. As he passes James and I from behind, I hold my breath, and my toes curl in my trainers. I'm expecting him to do something like touch me in secrecy. He doesn't, but the fact remains. He puts me on edge. Even more so knowing Maxime has betrayed him somehow.
"'Tis good to see you, Carl."
Charlie smiles coolly at Carl, and only Carl.
"Work kept me late. I'm sure I've not missed much."
I check him out from the corner of my eye. His hair is tied back, enhancing his gorgeousness, if that's even possible. It's so black and shiny, and looks finger-touching soft. I've never thought about touching a man before. Maybe I haven't because all the men I've been around are either on Maxime's payroll or at the end of my barrel. Charlie shows no interest in anyone but Carl, though the other men fuss over him like he's some kind of god, offering up their chairs and their drinks.
"The end chairs are the most comfortable,"
Rumo says, giving Maxime a funny look, curtly nodding to the right, as if to say, "Get up and move." Charlie doesn't react to them with smugness. He doesn't really indulge their fussing at all. He simply shakes everyone's hand while asking Carl,
"How's the wife?"
I'm itching to know who the fuck he is, especially after he saved that girl last night. He's like the light and the dark, the good and the bad. It's so confusing because no one in this game is both.
"She's doing great,"
Carl says, cradling his whiskey glass on the table.
"We're on our third child. Her name is Gabrielle."
He kisses his own fingers with passion, emphasizing his daughter.
"She's the most lindo little thing."
"I'm sure she is perfect. Your wife is bonita,"
Charlie says, though not in a smutty manner. He sounds like he genuinely thinks highly of Carl and his wife.
"Tell her I said congratulations,"
he adds, then takes Maxime's seat by grabbing the back with authority, forcing Maxime to move over one. James and I follow him to the right, staying behind him.
"A drink?"
Rumo says to Charlie, appearing a little nervous, tugging open his silver tie. Charlie nods, slowly taking to his chair. Then his eyes flitter between James and me, causing my stomach to roll with anxiety. I don't meet his gaze. I stare past him, endeavoring to come across collected in my pose.
Someone's got a thing for redheads,
he teases, referring to James and I, flicking up his eyebrows at Maxime.
They've got to be related.
Turning his head, he says to James,
What's your name, boy?
Maxime waves out a hand and James states his name. His voice comes out cold and detached.
You're obviously part of Maxime's security alongside Blair?
James nods. Yes, sir.
Sir?
Charlie looks amused and pleased with James's word choice.
Well, he's been a while since I was called sir. You should have seen this boy last night.
He winks at Carl from across the table in a sly manner.
Actually tried to stand up to me and all my men.
My heart sinks with unease, but James looks confident in his domain.
Though I can't blame him,
Charlie says.
He clearly thought I was mocking this one.
He gestures at me and smiles. It makes him look so handsome and young, which is odd, given how sovereign he is.
Yes,
Maxime drawls.
I used to have a hard time training Blair because he didn't like my process. He is too fond of her.
Aren't we all?
Charlie eyes Carl in an artful fashion, who seems entertained with his daring. Maxime doesn't respond to that. He ushers me forward by clicking his fingers, telling me to get Charlie a drink.
You still like brandy, don't you, my friend?
Yeah,
Charlie says, and I hate that I can feel his steady blue eyes on me.
Especially if she's making it.
On autopilot, I walk over to the bar in the corner of the room, put down my gun, and fix him a drink.
Have you opened your new club yet?
Charlie asks. I assume he's addressing Rumo, given his club opened last week.
Of course,
Rumo says, and he blathers on about his new adventure, the whores, as he calls them.
They're filthy as fuck, and for you all my close friends, they're free.
Men, I roll my eyes. They're so easily distracted with tits and ass.
I think I'll pass, Charlie says. Don't like whores. I prefer my women clean and exclusive, with a bad attitude.
Carl chuckles. I grab the brandy from the side and take it to Charlie. He's surveying me as I walk to him. My stomach won't stop rolling with anxiety, but I try to save face by being as impassive as I can.
Hello, Senorita Blair,
he says when I stop in front of him. His Latin-infused voice makes every hair on my body prick.
It's nice to see you again. Did you enjoy an early night last night?
He smiles at me with bold seduction, his blue eyes glancing back and forth between mine. He's so fucking handsome it makes me sick. I nod at him by a way of forced respect.
I've got to say, you're even prettier in the light. Isn't she pretty, Carl?
Carl agrees, sparking a lighter for his cigar.
Even when she was younger, she was a bonita girl.
Charlie smirks at Maxime with mocking enthusiasm. Then he smirks at me.
You really have to fix the lighting in your office. What's the point of owning something so lovely when you can't fully appreciate it?
I gesture impatiently with the glass, urging Charlie to take it. He does, and he runs his thumb over mine, causing me to jerk away from him as that familiar tingly feeling spreads through my body. A black switch goes off in my head, the switch that says, kill, the switch that flickers on when someone touches me. I don't attack him. I don't know why. I manage to keep my cool and step back behind Maxime, training my eyes on the wall behind Charlie. James gives me a weird side glance, which I see from the corner of my eye.
How's work coming along?
Charlie asks me. Pressing his feet into the ground, he slides his chair around to face me. A few uncomfortable looks are thrown around, but Charlie doesn't care. He simply sits back and drapes his hands over the arms of the chair, holding the glass in one hand.
You can answer our friend, my little pet,
Maxime says, centered on the cards in his hand. Things are coming along fine, I say, squeezing the gun over my lap in both hands, fighting for composure.
Just fine?
He asks. I step around so I can see Maxime's face and also to get out of Charlie's line of vision. Maxime nods at me. Things are running like clockwork. I lie. Now is not the time to confess that I'm not only failing to attain 15 minutes, but behind schedule.
Good.
A devious grin reaches Charlie's eyes. He looks me up and down, leisurely and with intent.
I like what you're wearing.
Oh, of course he does. My combat outfit is tight and black, covering every inch of my small frame but my face. I think my cheeks heat up, but I don't show any other reaction. Well, not deliberately. James is wearing the same, but I doubt Charlie will compliment him.
Can you breathe in those trousers?
He teases. I shoot him a wolfish glare, and he winks at me. I press my teeth together. Why does this bastard have to provoke me? Rumo and Umberto lewdly compliment my clothes, too, saying what dirty things they'd like to do to me if they were allowed.
That was a private joke,
Charlie says, and the room submerges in silence. I peer over at James. He's staring at me, baffled beyond belief.
So, Maxime,
Charlie says after having a sip of his brandy.
About your offer to see Blair in action.
James and I look at each other. This is about the only communication we achieve in Maxime's company.
In action?
Umberto's eyes light up.
Are we to enjoy a fuck show?
He hesitates to say the words, I assume because he's remembering what happened last night.
No,
Maxime says in a deep note, lifting a hand.
No one is fucking my little pet.
No, they're not, Charlie says. Maxime blinks at him. James and I blink at each other. Charlie's presence is so intense, like walking on fire.
So, what show?
Umberto asks, seemingly at a loss with a stupid expression on his wrinkly face.
Maxime was telling me Blair is a good fighter,
Charlie elaborates, speaking with his hands.
He offered to show me just how skilled a fighter she is.
I detest how he addresses my master as just Maxime, rather than Maxim Markov, especially in front of his friends.
Oh, I see.
Umberto emphasizes that he's never seen a girl battle with such raw fighting skills.
She's like a fucking cheetah because she's so quick. You never said she was fighting tonight, Maksim Markov. I was waiting on Charlie, he says. It is a surprise.
My heart drums in my ears. I'm not often nervous, but I don't often have time to get my head around having a fight. I usually do, rather than think.
Why don't we retire to the ballroom?
Rumo says, rubbing his hands together. There is plenty of space for her to fight. We should bet? Everyone concurs. Then Rumo adds, I've never seen Blair fight before, but Carl has told me she's good.
That's because she is,
Carl says, though he doesn't sound as animated as the others. Nonetheless, Rumo grins.
Well then, let us get the move on.
Chapter 5. Chairs scrape against the wooden floors as everyone stands up from the table, including Charlie. He's getting on my last nerve with all this curiosity bullshit. I'm desperate to ask Maxime if I can fight him, just so I can kick his ass. James and I follow Maxime and the rest of the men through the entrance hall, down a wide lobby, and into a huge open ballroom. All these rich motherfuckers have them. The room oozes luxury, with ivory-paneled walls, a large, sparkly chandelier hanging overhead, and decadent, highly buffed wooden floors. Their Oxford shoes echo through the space as we go forth, stopping by the French doors that lead out onto the back garden.
My little pet,
Maksim calls in Russian for me to stand in front of him, waving me forward. He takes my gun and tells James to put his down on the window ledge.
You and James will battle until one is unconscious. Is that clear?
Charlie steps in front of us and crosses his arms.
Unconscious?
My face drops. He can speak Russian? Maksim nods.
It will be a good fight, my friend. You'll see.
No way. I'm not up for seeing this little girl unconscious.
Charlie points at me, then tucks his hand back into his crossed arms.
I just want to see what she's made of.
I almost huff. I'm insulted, truly, but quite eager to see the shock in this bastard's eyes when I knock James out cold. Shit, no. What am I thinking? I don't want to do that to James. I don't want to hurt him.
Charlie, relax, my friend.
Maksim pulls me under his arm. I lean into him, into his warmth, like a cat getting petted. He always pets me before a fight.
James will not beat Blair. She's too good.
She is,
Carl concurs. Charlie frowns down at me.
Is that right?
Tipping my head back, I peek up at Maksim, almost purring. Since before I can remember, I've been robbed of affection, so when Maksim is like this, I bask in his touch. I bask in the way he holds me. I guess everyone needs affection at some point in their lives, even me.
Don't look at him,
Charlie snaps, making me flinch. Everyone is instantly on guard, glancing at each other.
Look at me and answer me, Blair.
Maksim squeezes my arm to give me the go-ahead. Yes, that's right, I whisper. I can feel James's anxiety behind us coming off him in waves. It would usually make my stomach turn over with guilt. Now, however, I'm too preoccupied with Maksim. He's so warm, and he smells like freshly burnt brute. At times like this, I can almost imagine myself as a different person, someone who can and will thrive in another's tenderness. No more brutality, just this.
Okay, Charlie?
Maksim asks, holding me tighter under his arm. He knows I enjoy his touch. I've told him many of times, when he's asked. Charlie grinds his square jaw.
Yeah, but if I call it to a stop, they must stop. I don't want to see her half dead.
Somehow he snapped me out of this needy trance. I'm not sure if I'm angry, affronted, or flattered by his demand. I frown. No one has ever broken me out of a trance when Maksim holds me.
Blair, you understand?
Maksim looks down at me.
If Charlie says stop, you will both stop.
I nod, innocently blinking up at him.
You too, James,
Maksim says, glancing back.
Yes, Cop Maksim.
Good.
My master gives me another squeeze before saying in Russian,
Now, the both of you go on and take your positions in the middle of the room.
When I glance up at Charlie, he nods at me. I'm not sure why. Turning out of Maksim's embrace, I come face to face with James. He appears very deadpan, but I know he's nervous. I can sense it on another level. I don't enjoy fighting my friend like this either, so I guess I am a little nervous too, but I have no other choice. Maksim will beat the shit out of me if I refuse, and like always, I'll do nothing to stop him. While the men light up cigars and place bets, James and I walk into the middle of the room and stand opposite each other. His face is pale against short red hair, and his eyes a dark shade of blue under this light. My hair is tied back in a bun, but that won't stop James from trying to get a good hold on me. I won't let that happen.
Form positions,
Maksim calls out in Russian, modestly annoyed because we haven't done so already. Raising our fists to protect our faces and opening our legs to create balance through our bodies, James and I nod at each other. "Just go down," I whisper, holding his uneasy gaze. "He won't like that," James mouths back. "He wants to show you off." My heart sinks because he's right. Maksim won't like that. He's boasting. "I'm sorry," I say truthfully. At least I tried to spare him for this moment. "Fight," says Maksim in Russian. James and I smile pitifully at each other to apologize for what is about to happen. Then he goes in for the kill. He swings for my face with a few steady punches. I evade his onslaught with effortless grace. I duck and weave to the left and the right, my muscles easing into my motions. He always serves the first hit, I've noticed over the years. It gives me an advantage because one is off balance while trying to strike. I've never told him of his bad habit, since we often have to fight each other to train or entertain, and it gives me a chance to put him down before things get bloody. I dodge another punch. Then James pounces at me. I catch his wrist and fling him across the room with all the strength I have, letting out a harsh breath. I then run at him and dish out meditated jabs, landing a few to his hard stomach when I can get through his first attack. He gasps, twisting his face in pain, but manages to keep focus. I don't stop there. I dance him around in circles, lashing out athletic kicks to bat away his punches until I'm behind him. I'm trained with Wing Chun, a Chinese martial arts way of fighting. Since I don't really know how old I was when I first started fighting, but I was young. I've always fought this way. My muscles now warm and loose, I beat James's kidneys with perfect clenched fists, exhaling for each strike. My assault puts him on his knees, groaning in agony. Clutching the scruff of his neck, I ceaselessly beat him into a bloody haze. My knuckles are cracking and throbbing with pain. His eyes swell, red and bruised and puffy. He will look like hell tomorrow. I boot him in the chest, knocking him over with brutal force. He doesn't get up, just lies there half curled up in a ball. So I wait, trying to filter the rush of adrenaline. I don't want to get lost in myself while fighting my friend. The seconds tick by at a snail's pace. I can hear the men over there by the doors muttering amongst themselves, though I can't make out what they're saying. James is still crippled on the floor. I steal over to assess him, to make sure he's okay. He jumps to his feet and clouts me in the face, whipping my head back. My bottom lip splits. I spit out a pool of metallic-flavored blood and meet his blows with rapid movements, punch for punch. Arg! I scream through clenched teeth with every strike, my knuckles smashing against his. He's battling in his stride, and because I know I can't get through his ambush, I lash out a high axe kick, knocking his head back. Dizzy again, he stumbles about. My chest is on fire as I pant through my nose, watching him strive to gather himself.
"She's fucking unbelievable,"
someone yells, keyed up. I think it's Rumo. When James is back on par, he darts at me, growling. Grr! He kicks my feet and jabs through the air like he's going for gold, forcing me around the room. With my forearms, I block his storm, left then right, amid punting away his lazy kicks. He's trying to knock me over by kicking my feet, but he's not doing a good job of it. I'm a little angry with him. He knows I'm good with my feet. I sidekick behind his knee to put him off balance, then I spin around and flip him over, scissoring him between my legs. I land on my palms as we hit the floor with a heavy thud, my hands throbbing with pain. I unfold my legs from around his body, kick him away, then leap to my feet and stretch out my thigh muscles. The adrenaline rushing through me is intoxicating, tingly sensations swimming in my bloodstream, and my heart is pounding. I'm slowly losing focus. James struggles to get up, and when he does, he staggers back. I assume to put some distance between us for a breathing moment.
What are you waiting for?
He pants every word, squeezing his eyes shut a few times. Fast and smooth, I sprint at him. I land a nice clean blow to the center of his face, causing his nose to explode. My knuckles pulsate, but the pain goes away after a few seconds of flexing my hand.
That's it, my little pets,
Maksim chants in Russian.
Kill him!
Kill him? I stop then to look at Maksim, and James thumps me square in the face, knocking me clean into the air. I'm in a haze for a moment, plummeting backward, wondering if Maksim actually wants me to kill James. My back cracks when it hits the hard floor. I wince, arching over on my side. Maksim's control over my mind doesn't always serve me well. One word, one click of his fingers, and I lose focus. I don't want to kill my friend. I have to clarify this before I do. Booting me in the stomach, James wins me. I cough up thick, warm blood, struggling to breathe for a second. I manage to wrap my arms around his ankles, ensuring he cannot kick me again.
Not literally, Blair,
Maksim shouts in Russian.
Fucking get up!
James grabs a fistful of my hair and pounds me in the face, sending shooting pains right through my skull. My head lashes back and forth, but I'm still here. I'm not out cold yet.
Stop the fight, someone yells. Now, Maksim. Just wait, Maksim says. Blair, put out of it. Konjachiga.
My senses come to attention. Bent over me, James is weak in his stance. I dig my nails into the backs of his knees and yank him forward with a loud groan, dropping him on his ass. His grip still in my hair, he drags me forward with him, making my scalp tear. He's trying to get up now, at the same time shoving me into the floor. I fight to my feet, spin out of his grasp on my hair, and boot him where it hurts.
Oh, fuck!
Cupping his crotch, he goes down like a sack of shit, all the color draining from his face. I step back, panting like a wildcat, wiping damp strands of hair back out of my face.
Finish him!
Maksim yells. James wobbles to his feet, and I know this is my moment. Any longer, and it'll be a bloodbath. I jump up into the air with facility, wrap my legs around his neck, and flip over to put him down completely. I land on the floor with open palms, and James's neck between my thighs. I use all my lower body weight to keep him face down, tensing and gritting my teeth, pressing my hands into the cold wooden floors. The veins in my eyes feel like they might pop, but I don't stop. I squeeze and squeeze and squeeze.
Jesucristo!
Someone shouts out.
I thought he had her.
Gasping and wriggling, James tries to pry my legs open, digging his fingers into my flesh. It doesn't work. I might be small, but I'm strong.
Davai, Davashka,
Maksim yells.
That's it, girl. Put him to sleep.
I do, my heart twisting with remorse. This doesn't happen often, me feeling a sense of guilt, but it's happening now. I'm sorry. After a few minutes, James falls limp in my thigh-tight grasp. Chapter 6. Gasping, I loosen my grip on James and roll onto my back, relieved the fight is over. A round of applause breaks out, echoing through the large room. I don't soak up the ovation. Lost somewhere in my mind, I turn over onto my knees and push to my feet, lengths of hair sticking to my sweaty, bloody face. Standing there, I look down at James. He's battered, bruised, and bested. My chest aches at the sight of him. I hate that Maxime makes us do this to each other. Training together in my apartment is fine because we stop when one calls for a ceasefire. But in moments like this, we have to fight until one is cataleptic, or worse. I've had to kill others to entertain many times before. Charlie saunters toward me with a white towel in hand. He's undone his ponytail so his ink-black hair curls around his neck and face.
"Wipe yourself off,"
he says softly to me, and shakes out the towel. I assume because I don't take it. I'm just glaring at him, a storm brewing inside me.
"What's with the silence,
His blue eyes glow with uncertainty as they search mine.
"Maxime said you can speak to me."
I huff under my breath, amazed by his impudence. He goads Maxime into making me beat my friend half to death and wonders why I don't want to chat. I don't need that. I refuse the towel. Crouching down, I pick up my friend from the floor, hooking my arms under his so I can drag him out to the car.
"Leave him,"
Maxime says. I glance up, my muscles straining under James's weight.
"Go on. Leave him where he is."
Maxime smiles at me with zealous wickedness, standing amid the other men who are patting him on the back. "Okay," I say softly and without thinking. "Sure." I carefully put James back down on the ground and fold his hands across his chest.
"Don't worry,"
Charlie whispers, draping the towel over his shoulder.
"I'll put your friend in his car."
"Don't you dare touch him," I warn under my breath and stand up to him in defiance, barely coming up to his chest. I have no idea why I feel I can talk to him like this, but I do. "You asked for this." He hunches down so we're almost at eye level.
"I just wanted to see what you're made of."
"Well, now you've seen." I'm trying to be sarcastic, but I can't keep the misery out of my voice. "Happy?" A lick of blood slithers down the side of my face, over my cheekbone. I catch it with a single finger and wipe it off on my trousers.
"You in a lot of pain?"
Charlie lifts a hand to touch me, ignoring my question.
"I can get you some painkillers if you need them."
I bat away his hand with such force it makes a slapping sound. "I'm not allowed painkillers." His eyes widen.
"Like hell you're not."
I ball my trembling hands, the storm inside me whirling like a hurricane getting ready to explode. Who are you to tell me what I can or cannot have? I'm just about to tell Charlie to piss off and leave me alone, then...
"What are you two talking about?"
Maxime asks, reminding me that Charlie and I are not alone, and James is still lying there at my feet. On instinct, so I don't get in trouble, I say, "Charlie was just praising me, Maxime." I give Charlie a desperate, knowing look.
"See, I was,"
he concurs loud enough for all to hear, and then whispers,
"For that, I want to talk to you before the night is over."
I frown at him, maintaining eye contact. What could he possibly want to talk to me about? There's a faint vibrating sound coming from his pocket. I realize it's his phone when he pulls it out.
"What?"
he snaps to answer without checking the screen to see who it is, and without looking away from me. I'm the one to break eye contact. I blink about in a fluster, and he disappears through a doorway off the ballroom. This is so weird. I've never lied to Maxime before, and I'd never be so blatant as to hold someone's gaze in front of my master.
"Come over here and have a drink, my little pet,"
Maxime says. I'm assured by his relaxed tone of voice that he hasn't clocked on to anything. I walk stolid across the room with a slight twinge in my back, smoothing scraps of hair back out of my face.
"Here you go."
He gives me his glass and smiles with obvious elation.
"Drink up. It will make you feel better."
I nod with a forced smile, taking the glass. It's cold against my palm and quite heavy. I scoop out a cube of ice and press it to my broken lip, blinking droplets of sweat over my lashes. Not just sweat, blood. It makes my left eye sting.
Told you she was good,
Umberto says, his chin doubled because he's staring down at me from at least 6 foot.
Yes.
Rumo's eyes thin as he looks at me.
You should put her in the monthly fights at my farm, Maksim Markov. We could make some serious money off of her.
No,
Maksim laughs, tipping up the glass to motion I have a sip.
It would be unfair to her opponents.
The vodka burns my throat and makes me gasp a little.
You can say that again,
Umberto says between chuckles.
Imagine, we would be accused of fixing the fights.
Everyone but Carl laughs at his silly joke, and then Rumo says they should get back to playing poker.
Umberto now has an extra 50,000 to burn as he bet on Blair winning.
Of course he did. I'm not sure he's ever missed one of my fights.
Go put James in the car, my little pet.
Maxime leans in to kiss the wound on my eyebrow, causing me to wince internally. He then puts warm lips on my ear and whispers,
When you are done attending to James, meet me in the snooker room, where we will be playing poker. Be cautious of Charlie if you run into him.
Nodding, I pass him back the glass and walk over to James, a morsel of pain still in my back, like needles in my spine. Must be due to landing on this hard floor. James remains out cold. His hands are still folded over his chest. He's not moved an inch. Poor guy. I block out the sentiment of guilt. It's the last thing I need to be feeling right now. As I'm the only person inside Rumo's house who can guard Maxime, I must keep my wits about me. With both hands, I grab under James's arms. He's heavy like dead weight, so I use my lower body strength to move him. Charlie appears in front of me, takes James's forearms and attempts to throw him over his shoulder. "What are you doing?" I snap, standing up straight. "Will you go away?" My eyes dart over to the doors. Fortunately, Maxime and his friends are out of sight.
Dios mío, will you calm down?
Charlie glares at me, putting James back down on the floor.
I'm just helping you.
Helping me? I squeak in shock, my hands trembling to hit him. If you didn't provoke Maxime, James wouldn't be lying here unconscious. I'm struggling to keep my voice down, but he really gets under my skin. Why don't you go play a hand of poker? Leave the hard work to those of us who have no other choice but to do the heavy lifting.
Why do you stay with Maxime?
He asks, completely off topic, cocking his head. I scoff. Another stupid question. He seems to be full of them.
I know your friend here is fitted with a tracking device,
he says, waving a hand at James.
Yet you're not, and you stick around. Why is that?
My jaw drops. He's been asking around about us? Not well enough, though, it seems. I'm not fitted with a tracking device because I have my master's absolute trust. James is fitted with one because Maxime isn't a silly man. He knows that if James had half the chance, he'd try to run. It would be a foolish mistake, though. Maxime has the British government in his pocket because he brings millions to the economy with his trafficked girls. So if James ever did run, he'd be picked up by the police within the day. Why do you address Maxime with such insolence? I say, putting Charlie under the spotlight. Don't you think you ought to learn some respect? He snorts with affront.
Why would I speak up to someone with respect who is beneath me?
I shake my head in obvious loathing, refusing to argue cat and dog style. I don't know who you think you are. I grip my friend's ankles and haul him across the floor, toward the doors. Charlie takes James's wrists and lifts him off the ground, his arm muscles bulging with tension. Charlie, I growl his name, curling my lips against my teeth.
Look,
he says, releasing James again.
You can drag your friend out like a dead body, or you can let me help you.
Though he's giving me an option, his tone doesn't really leave any room for argument.
The choice is yours.
He snatches the towel off his shoulder and flings it at me.
Wipe your face. You're bleeding.
Dropping James's legs, I catch the towel with both hands, wondering why he's doing this. Why is he provoking me? And why is he trying to help me? Charlie nods at the towel, and I don't know why, but I wipe my sweaty forehead before cleaning up my bloody mouth, wincing when I press it to my busted lip. I'm bleeding more than I thought. The white towel soaks through with claret. Charlie walks up to me, his stride confident and unhesitant. Reaching out, he lifts my chin with a single finger, forcing us to look at each other. A rush of heat sweeps through me, making my skin flush, and then my stomach tingles with... I don't know. I do nothing. I just stand there like a brainless statue. I manage to swallow past the restriction in my throat, but that's it.
Your eye's bleeding quite a lot,
he says softly, glancing between my eyes and my mouth. With his other hand, he covers mine where I'm holding the towel to my lip and forces me to press it to my eye, dabbing there. It stings, but that isn't what's bothering me. I back up out of his grip to put some well-needed distance between us, unable to think or speak. I just look at him, unnerved. He observes me from a few feet away, running his tongue across the sharp of his upper teeth. I'm sure he knows how he makes me feel when he touches me. I can see it in his eyes. He nods a few times, as if confirming something to himself. "What?" I say, but he doesn't answer me. Breaking eye contact, he crouches, grips James around the waist, and tosses him over his shoulder. Straightening, he heads for the exit with steady grace, as if carrying a shopping bag rather than a fully grown man. For a time, I'm frozen in the middle of the ballroom, watching him leave. What is it with the way he touches me? Why does he make me feel weird? Tossing the towel on the floor, I jog through the house after him. Outside, the floodlights are beaming in full force. I squint, catching up with Charlie. He seems to know exactly where he's going because he's heading straight for the SUV James arrived in.
"Open the back door,"
he says, nodding at the car, so I do. He bends at the knees to put James across the back seats and tells the other two in the car to just let him rest.
"If you give him water when he wakes up, make sure he takes it in small sips." Okay,"
they say in unison, glancing at each other, then back at Charlie. Now that James is safely in his car, I relax somewhat. I turn for the house, heading back to Maxime.
"Are you going to answer my question?"
Charlie says, walking up beside me.
"I just had your back in there, so the least you could do is..."
"What question, Charlie?"
"Why'd you stay with Maxime? Why doesn't he insist you wear a tracking device?"
I roll my eyes, refusing to go there. We jog up the porch steps together.
"Blair."
He gently touches my arm. "Are you stupid or just deaf?" I face him, then I step back because we're too close for comfort. "I'm not allowed to talk about Maxime. Do you want to get me the fucking whip?"
"He whips you?"
Charlie says this like he's surprised, raising his eyebrows.
"We'll have to remedy your situation then, won't we?"
"Fuck you." I step for him, craning my head back so I can defiantly meet his wicked gaze. "Fuck you and whatever you're up to." He looks down on me like I'm small and harmless.
"I'm not up to anything."
I laugh under my breath, jabbing a finger at my temple. "You must think me a fool, Charlie."
"Not at all. Far from it, actually."
"Yes," I huff at him, looking between his eyes as he looks between mine. "I've seen men like you my whole life. I know when one is up to no good."
"I'm not up to anything. I'm just curious as to why a pretty girl like you, who has immense discipline and fighting skills, bows to a motherfucker like Maxime.
His eyes pour over my body, and the lust that burns in his expression is back in full force.
It's crazy. I mean, look at you. How strong you are.
He gestures at me with a sturdy hand.
You could choose your own path, Blair, and you damn well know it.
I point at the ground between us. This is all I know. It's all I've ever known. Leaning down, putting us eye to eye, he whispers,
You can learn something new.
Oh? I cross my arms, stepping away from him. Because it's that easy, is it?
If you had me on your side, it'd be easy.
I don't for a second entertain what he's offering. I'll never be ready to abandon Maxime. I'm going nowhere. I'm going nowhere until Maxime orders me away. Have you got that? The veins in my neck tick. Now just leave me alone. He sidesteps me when I try to rush past him. Arg, why are you doing this to me? I ask in frustration, uncrossing my arms to tense my fists at my sides. Last night you had Maxime send me home. Tonight you're provoking him into making me fight, and then you almost call it off because you didn't want to see me half dead. I air quote half dead. I know it was him who shouted for Maxime to stop the fight. He's the only person I've ever heard address Maxime by only his first name. And now you're trying to influence me into turning my back on Maxime?
I'm not doing that.
The tranquil expression on his face makes my blood boil. Then what are you doing, Charlie Desena? I have to squeeze out every word through clenched teeth, because I can't work you out.
Maybe I just think you are a waste as his little pet.
He also uses air quotations to mock me, I think. That's not an explanation for all your actions, I say with anger. Why won't you leave me alone?
Okay.
Shrugging and nodding at once, he gives in to me.
I don't think I need to explain why I made him send you home last night. No young girl wants to watch that perverted shit. And as for the fight tonight, I wouldn't have let it go too far. If I thought you were in trouble, I would have stopped it myself.
He sounds genuine, and given his actions, I think I believe him, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just too proud to admit to myself that I believe him. I can't be doing this. I push him out of the way, using both hands to move his large body. Maxime is waiting for me. As I walk past him, he grabs my wrist, forcing me to gasp in anger.
Don't do that, Charlie, I warn, looking down at his hand wrapped around my wrist. I don't want to hurt you.
He yanks me into him with powerful force, causing my head to snap back.
I'm not afraid of you, Blair,
he whispers in my face, his brandy-seasoned breath warm on my cheeks. I glance between his blue eyes, fear and fury surging through me. You should be. We're like this for a moment, staring at each other in a power standoff, before I realize all of Maxime's men are surrounding us in the SUVs. They can see what's going on. I'm going to get in trouble if Charlie doesn't back off.
Blair, listen to me.
Let me go, I say to cut him off. Please, Charlie. All of Maxime's men are here, and they're probably watching. Just let me go. He frees me then, without hesitation. I stumble back a step and hug my middle, letting out the breath I've been holding.
You don't have to go back in there,
he says, shoving his hands in his jeans pockets.
My car's over there. You can come and work for me if you want. You can utilize yourself in a better way, Blair. You don't have to live like an emotionless robot.
There it is, the way the world sees me. You know nothing about me, I say, boldly meeting his gaze. You know nothing about what I've been through or what I feel. There's so much more that I want to say to him, but I won't. I won't let him break me down because Maxime will only have to put me back together again. Leave me alone, Charlie. My eyes on the ground, I walk past him, through the welcome hall and into the snooker room, where I take my position next to Maksim. My hands are shaking like crazy. I hide them behind my back, gathering my composure.
Do you think Charlie will attend?
Umberto says, blathering on about some party Maksim is holding next week. I don't pay attention to the rest of their conversation. It dawns on me that I didn't once attack Charlie for touching me. No one but Maksim has ever laid a finger on me without reaping my wrath. My head is a vapor of confusion. I don't get this. Maybe I didn't attack because Maksim said in his office that I'm not allowed to fight Charlie. I put it down to that. It's the only thing that makes sense.
My little pet,
Maksim says, and when I look up, I see he's proffering my gun. Taking it, I nod by way of respect. Charlie returns around 10 minutes later, his ink-black hair a little ruffled, as if he's been running his fingers through the glossy strands.
Where were you?
Carl asks, examining Charlie as he takes to his seat.
We've been waiting.
I was helping Senorita Blair with James.
He scoops up his cards from the table, focusing his attention.
We can get on with the game now.
You helped my little pet with James?
Maksim raises his eyebrows at Charlie, then he peers back at me with the same shocked expression on his iron face.
Oh, isn't that nice, Blair?
I flinch, and my bones chill from the tone of his voice. He isn't happy. The rest of the night goes by smoothly, thankfully, and Charlie doesn't say another word to me. The men talk business and ask Charlie to attend the next poker game. He says he will if he's in town, which pleases Carl.
I can't guarantee anything. I've got a lot of work that needs my focus.
I'm glad to hear that he might be leaving. He's causing too much bother around me. He's fucking with my chi. By the time the clock strikes 4 a.m., I'm relieved the game is over. We are all leaving to go home. At the front doors, while Rumo is bidding us all goodbye, Charlie gives me this weird look, blatantly staring at me in front of everyone.
We still on for tomorrow then, Charlie?
Carl repeats his question because Charlie isn't paying attention. He's looking at me, with his hands shoved in his jeans pockets. I disregard his scrutiny and link arms with Maksim because he's out of his mind drunk. I help him stagger across the driveway and into my car. When he's slumped in the passenger seat, I slip into the driver's seat, fire up the engine, and reverse out of the driveway.
Here you go.
He passes me a bundle of cash for fighting. He always pays me for what I do, which is sort of odd, given he doesn't pay James. Thank you, Maksim. Leaning over him, I click open the glove compartment and shove the bundle inside. Then I steer out of the suburban street with the security detail on our trail.
My friend Charlie has taken a liking to you,
Maksim says. I can feel his golden eyes on my face, scanning my reaction. I wouldn't know. I lie for the second time tonight, my expression impassive. I'm not sure Charlie's reasons are genuine, but he's definitely pursuing me. I'm not an idiot.
You would tell me if he tried anything with you, wouldn't you, my little pet?
My stomach twists with disloyalty. It's almost crushing. I should tell Maksim about the things Charlie said to me, that he's curious, and that I can choose my own path if I really wanted to, that he'd be on my side. But I just can't. I've never kept anything from Maksim before, but this, what Charlie and I spoke about, it feels weirdly private. And I don't want to go over it at all, if I'm truly honest. I don't want to analyze. I just want to forget. I want Charlie to piss off back to wherever he came from, so my life can go back to normal. After I've broken his nose for touching me, I say in response to Maxim's question, blank of emotion, of course. That makes him laugh, though in a lazy manner since he's tired.
You are a good, loyal little pet.
He snuggles down in his coat and rests his eyes. I cannot help thinking over what he just said. Charlie has taken a liking to you. The man is out to cause trouble. I know it. I wish I knew why.
Do you have anything you want to ask?
Maxim says in a sleepy voice. There's a million things I want to ask, but only one question makes sense. I brace myself for a blow as I say, "Who is Charlie, exactly?" The blow doesn't come. Maxim doesn't move in his seat. He's quiet for a while. I train my attention on the road so I don't look too interested.
Remember last month, he says in time. Tatiana and I had you study Mexico and the Los Zetas.
Tatiana is his boss, and more, the Russian mafia leader. She never makes an appearance unless it's absolutely necessary, and that's only ever when she needs to cause bloody murder. I nod when Maxim looks at me. Then I turn right onto the highway.
Charlie de Sena is the son of the man who first deserted his army rank and created the Los Zetas.
Maxim doesn't sound too comfortable speaking about this. He pauses every so often.
They are considered the most dangerous criminal organization in the world. It is famous for their torture techniques and power throughout Southern America.
That explains the American accent with a touch of Latin.
Charlie in particular is known famously for his wicked torture techniques,
Maxim continues.
He likes to break women down with pleasure and pain, always ensuring their humanity remains intact. You know, sort of like how I taught you to murder women while they stare at photos of their children.
Maxim laughs, like he's proud of this, his voice a bit croaky.
Women are nothing if not weak when it comes to humanity.
I cannot relate to this, so I don't ponder over it too much. And the men, I ask, swerving into the fast lane. How does he torture men? Maxim stares at me with grave, golden eyes.
He will chop off their cocks inch by inch, and so slowly that time feels like it no longer exists.
Chapter 7. After a long, emotionally grueling weekend of watching Maxim's back, I return home and try for the 15 minutes Charlie wants to shut down London. James texts to say he's okay, informing me that he has a few broken ribs, bruised kidneys, and a bloody, messed-up face. He'll be right as rain in a few weeks. Though I never usually would, I text him back. I just feel so guilty about what I did. It's fucking weird. I never feel guilt for anything. I don't know what's sparking my emotions. To James. You know I'm sorry, don't you? From James. I know you're sorry. Don't worry about me. I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Text or call if you need me. His reply makes me smile a little. Hopefully by the time I see him again, he'll look as good as new, and this frustrating guilty feeling will leave me the hell alone. Putting everything and everyone out of my mind, I focus on the job at hand, working my butt off in my office. I'm exhausted by day 3. The swelling on my left eye and lip has gone down a bit, so I'm almost back to normal. Well, physically I am. Mentally, I'm fucked. Regardless, I continue punching in codes and filling London's CCTV system with glitches so I can take over it, but by the end of the week, it's confirmed that it is impossible to grasp 15 minutes. When the system locks me out, that's it, and it's always at 11 minutes. I can do no more, and my time to try is up. 2 hours it takes me to work up the courage to call Maksim. 2 bloody hours, because I know he's going to punish me for failing. And I'm not wrong. He isn't happy when I lie and say that I need another week, that I only have 11 minutes. I'm just trying to spare my ass some time. He curses through the phone in Russian, telling me,
"Charlie will lose it if we don't give him what he needs, Blair. Do you understand that? Do you fucking understand what he'll do to me? To us? Pizdец!"
he screams with fury.
"This is the fucking end."
I'm quiet throughout the whole ordeal, shitting bricks. Once he's finished rambling, he hangs up on me. He shows up at my apartment half an hour later, as I knew he would. Punishing me in my own home is his way of letting me know that while I don't live with him, I can't escape him. 3 loud knocks echo through my personal space. My heart is racing, my palms are sweating, and my mouth is so dry. With a trembling hand, I open the front door to him and stand there with as much innocence as I can conjure up, sinking into my shoulders and my waist-length hair. He looks the part in a sharp gray suit paired with a crisp white shirt, but that's where his customary docile facade ends. His eyes flare with disappointment as he looks down at me, shaking his head. This isn't good. Though Maksim sometimes beats me to teach me a lesson, he never looks disappointed with me. He must really be scared of Charlie.
"You don't often let me down, my little pet."
His lips curl against natural white teeth.
"I'm very, very unhappy with you."
I drop my eyes to the floor so my hair curtains my face, mentally blocking out what's to come. He's an unpredictable sadist. 1 minute he'll whip me, and the next he'll drown me. Or worse, he'll burn me. I hope he'll just whip me today. Reaching out, he grabs my wrist and drags me through the living area, into my bedroom. I stumble to keep up with him, my naked feet slapping against the marble floors. By the floor-to-ceiling windows opposite my bed, he twirls me around to face him, knocking me off balance.
"You know what happens next,"
he warns. Then he orders in Russian,
"On all fours, with your trousers and panties down."
When he lets go of my wrist, my thoughts go white. I scramble to obey, dropping to my hands and knees. Without shame. Maksim has seen my unclothed body more times than I care to remember. My sports trousers come down, then my underwear. I must leave them around my knees, I've always thought, because the elastic in my trousers ties my knees together. Cool air breezes through my thighs, blowing over my naked sex. A hand lifts up my t-shirt and bunches it around my waist. Then a single finger runs over the scars on my back. I shiver quietly, holding myself up on all fours.
"Point gut of it!"
Maksim yells from behind me for me to prepare, his voice resonating through the double-height room. I do. I try to relax as best as I can, but it's so difficult. The seconds tick by. I'm counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4. I imagine he's standing there looking at my scars and at my naked ass like a hungry man starved of rage. There's nothing more in this world Maksim enjoys over inflicting pain. He fumbles with his belt, and I can tell he's using both hands. I've seen and listened to him do this for 10 years. Though I'm relieved that he's only going to belt me, the sound of metal clanging against metal makes me cringe, sending me into some dark place in my mind. White thoughts. Focus on your white thoughts. It's so hard. If there's ever a sound I'd love never to hear again, it's that. He pulls his belt free with a loud whoosh. I cower to brace myself, letting my hair curtain my face, the ends dripping over the floor. The first whip whistles through the air, then a powerful smack rings right through me. I jump subconsciously, a desperate scream stuck in my throat, preventing my ability to breathe for a moment. My head rushes with the lack of oxygen. He gives me a moment, and I somehow manage to suck in a lungful of air.
Podgotovit,
he yells again for me to prepare. I squeeze my eyes and my teeth shut, fisting my fingers and my toes. Watch. I jolt in my own skin.
Podgotovich,
Watch.
Podgotovich,
Watch. My ass and the backs of my thighs are on fire, each welt throbbing, but I don't move, nor do I cry out, even while tears swim in my eyes. I just take the beating, going into a numb zone. 11 strikes in succession, Maksim groaning after each one, and then it's over. I almost pass out with relief that it's over. My head swims with endorphins. I take deep, steady breaths now that I can, blinking away the black spots in my vision. The belting wasn't that bad. I've suffered much, much worse. If anything, I think Maksim has been too soft on me.
"One more week, Blair,"
he says, leaning over me from behind. The buttons on his suit are cold against my naked, wounded flesh.
"If you do not successfully attain 15 minutes, this."
He rubs my ass with a rough, open palm, starting with my left cheek and then my right, making me wince.
"Will be child's play compared to how I will punish you."
The next breath I take in swells in my throat. He's been soft with me, so the next hiding takes full effect. Now it makes sense.
"I want to see you at my house on Saturday at 9 p.m.,
he whispers, a Russian gargle in each of his words.
"My driver will collect you from here."
Saturday is exactly 1 week from today. I'm petrified. I'll never have his 15 minutes, and I know that what he says is the truth. This was child's play compared to what he's going to do to me.
"You understand, Blair?"
Yes, Cup Maksim."
"Good. You can pull up your clothes, my little pet."
Under his tall frame, because he's still towering over me, I pull down my t-shirt, then pull up my underwear and trousers. Maksim stands back when I'm fully clothed, ordering,
"Get up."
Pushing to my feet, I grimace, grinding my teeth because my clothes chafe against my red and sore behind. Yeah, it wasn't that harsh of a beating, but it still stings.
"Here, my little pet."
Maksim passes me a bottle of cream from his suit jacket pocket. Hunching down, he kisses my face, pressing his lips to the sharp of my cheekbone.
"So you can focus on the job and not your pain. You know the drill. Apply 3 times a day."
His arms wrap around me, burying my face in his warm chest, sheathing me in the smell of burnt brute. I remain as still as a rock, empty of emotion, my hands hanging by my sides. I'm used to this, for this is how Maksim comes. A beating follows disobedience, and tenderness follows brutality. It's always been this way.
"You know,"
he husks out, brushing down the back of my hair over the curves of my spine.
"if you want to make me happy again, why don't you get on your knees, my little pet?"
My heart leaps into my throat, but I obey. Shutting my eyes, I slide through his embrace, down to my knees, and reach for the zipper of his trousers with one hand, squeezing the bottle of cream in my other. I will myself not to think about it while he strokes the top of my head. If I hurry, it'll be over.
"Cup Maksim,"
I hear from behind, and my heart sinks.
"Ah, my pet,"
Maksim purrs.
"What a surprise."
I glance over to see James standing in the doorway, dressed in his black combat gear. In a panic, I try to check out his face to see if he's okay, but I'm too guilty nervous. I know what happens next.
"I'm sorry,"
he says, lifting a defensive hand.
I didn't know you were here. I just wanted to check in on Blair, because I haven't heard from her in a while." "Oh, of course you did, my pet."
Maxime chuckles with dark desire, and I feel him stare down at me as he whispers,
"Always just in time, isn't he, Blair?"
I flinch against my given name. He shoves my head back, forcing me to fall on my sore ass. The bottle drops out of my hand with a light thud and rolls away under my bed. I consider crawling after it, but end up cuddling myself, gazing straight-faced at the floor. I'm pushing filthy images of him fucking James from my mind. He often makes me watch, but James says it's okay, because at least I'm safe from Maxime's sexual attention. It's quiet for a moment, bar the blood roaring in my ears. I expect they're exchanging knowing looks.
"Why don't you have Blair make you some lunch, Cop Maxime?"
James comes up to us with artificial confidence.
"I'll see to you."
A week later. Chapter 8. My eyes are heavy and my body is lethargic. I've not slept properly in 2 days. I've been studying to the ends of the earth on the dark web for a way to gain complete control of London's CCTV system because my hacking skills have proved useless. As I feared, there's no way, so I'm here at Maxime's house in his office to collect my punishment. Hopefully, if it's brutal, he'll knock me out cold and I won't feel anything. Hopefully. I can do only 11 minutes, Cop Maxime, I confess, standing with my head down. I'm sorry.
"Only 11 minutes?"
"Yes," I whisper, glancing up at him from beneath my lashes. He slouched back in his chair, behind his desk, hands clasped together in his lap. "I'm really sorry, Cop Maxime."
"Oh, I'm sure you are, my little pet."
Dropping my gaze because I can't stand that half-amused, half-thwarted expression on his face, I kneel before his desk so he can hit me. I squeeze my eyes shut to brace myself. He warned me last week that this punishment would be brutal. I'm horrified to think about what he's going to do. The worst thing he's ever done was brand my skin. I passed out on the dining room table, only to be woken up in a bathtub full of freezing cold water. The cold water hurt more than when he burned me, bizarrely so. I can't go through that again. It was torture. I can't even explain what the recovery was like. My skin felt hot, irritated, and stretched out every time I moved my back.
"Stand up,"
Maxime says. With my eyes still on the floor, I do, but I almost lose my balance because I'm shaking like a leaf.
"You know, my little pet."
His husky voice makes me shiver.
"As a child, when I failed to do what was asked of me, my parents would brutally rape me to teach me a lesson."
Is that what he's going to do? Rape me? I remember the way he looked at me when he was fucking that Albanian girl at the Asian prince's party the other week. This has to be his next move. Nothing else makes sense. I'm not scared if it is time for him to have me. I've always known this day would come.
"But I wouldn't do that to you," he tells me. "Not brutally, anyway. You mean more to me than I meant to my parents."
I pull my eyebrows together, wondering where he's going with this.
"There are other ways to teach you a lesson,"
he says, and then he's quiet. The creaking sound of a chair makes me flinch. Then a heavy hand lands on my shoulder.
"Charlie Desena will have to make the most of 11 minutes. Look at me, my little pet."
I lift my lashes to find his golden gaze.
"Is there anything you need?"
he asks, a peculiar, evil expression on his face.
"Or any questions you wish to ask?"
I might need a few extra computers, just if I get locked out of the CCTV system when I perform the job."
"Of course."
He leans down and says in my ear,
"I'll have them set up in your apartment for when you execute the job."
He kisses the side of my face with hard lips.
"Now, you should go tell Charlie of your equal success and failure. He is out back."
Great. Coming down from the rush of fear that he was going to hit me, I nod, turn on my heel, and get the hell out of his office before he changes his mind and gives me a good bloody hiding. I follow the pounding music down the hallway to the kitchen. It's packed with half-naked girls dancing all over the place in a drunken state, and an assortment of men whose eyes are glazed over. They're drugged up off powdery cocaine, mountains of it scattered across the white worktops and the dining table by the back doors. I continue through the kitchen in search of Charlie. One guy, I can never remember his fucking name, smirks at me as I pass him.
"When is Maksim Markov going to give it up already?"
he says, watching me with glossy eyes as he leans over the kitchen worktop on his elbows. I don't even look at him. I round the dining table, shoulder-barging the girls who smell sweet with perfume, and steal through the French doors. Outside, my breath mists the cold night. A few more of Maksim's friends surround the illuminated swimming pool in the heart of the patio area. I also note James, who nods at me from the other side of the pool. He's dressed in his combat uniform, standing about with his work partners Oliver and Shane. I lift my hand in a small wave. A gentle smile reaches his candid, affectionate eyes. Fuck, his eyes are a little black and blue. He's still bruised from our fight, dark green-gray patches marring his cheeks and his nose. I remember what he did for me last week as if it happened just moments ago. He let Maxime fuck him in an attempt to spare me of sexual attention. Overwhelmed with guilt, I have to shut off my thoughts and emotions. I can't think about how bad I feel for him. I have to endure Charlie DeSena soon. To the left of the pool, Maxime's dogs, his girls, stand on all fours with leashes around their necks. They're all naked. Some of them are absolutely petrified, crying and cringing from Maxime's friends who are copping a feel. The other girls aren't bothered. They seem used to what's happening to them, staring ahead blankly. As usual, I fight to ignore my instincts telling me to teach these perverted bastards a lesson. I'd tear them all apart, single-fucking-handed. I go over to James so I can quickly say hello and nod with respect to Oliver and Shane. They return my gesture before walking off. I assume to give James and me a moment.
"Hey."
James smiles down at me and also offers up his beer. It's still cold. "No, you keep it," I say softly. I can't seem to return his affectionate smile. He looks a mess. His left eye is bloodshot from the impact of my punches. My eyes crinkle with guilt.
"Don't worry."
Reaching out, he gives my hand a squeeze.
"It's all superficial. Are you okay?"
"Yes," I lie, noticing he's got red strangle marks around his neck. "I'm fine." I look down at my feet, then back up at him. "I can't stop. I have to," I gesture out. "You know, I just wanted to make sure."
"I know."
There's that sincere smile again. I wish he wouldn't do that. It makes me feel like crap. Leaving James, I go off and find Charlie at the other side of the pool. He's wearing jeans over white trainers and a black round-neck t-shirt that hugs his masculine body. His hair is tied back. The silvery blue water reflects on his handsome face, lighting up his olive skin, shimmering against that perfect black hair. He's got his arm around a blonde who is wearing a white bikini. She has to be cold. It's freezing out here. I know she is because her nipples are like bullets, and goose pimples are racing down her arms. Charlie is whispering something in her ear, making her giggle like a frivolous teenager. Even the other girls standing about him are giggling, indulging him. Isus Christos, I scoffed to myself in Russian, continuing for him. To think that most women are like this, giddy to the sweet nothings, makes me want to vomit. A man would have to work a lot harder than that to make me laugh. Mind you, no man has ever made me laugh before. When I reach him, I ask, "Can I speak to you for a moment, Charlie?" We meet each other's gaze, and I add, "In private?" I'm surprised that I'm not anxious to see him. If anything, I'm grateful that I have to endure his disappointment as opposed to Maxim's. The girls surrounding Charlie raise their eyebrows at me, affronted that I would even attempt to approach him. I'm fully clothed in black sports trousers, trainers, and my leather jacket, hardly dressed for the occasion. I don't bother returning their gestures of abhorrence. Enough blood will be spilt tonight. My blood, probably. One of the girls seems to know exactly who I am because she tells the others to look away. "Say nothing," she urges.
Hello, Señorita Blair.
Charlie's Latin-seasoned voice is soft and inviting. It reminds me of Hannibal Lecter. He scans my appearance, just like he always does, a dirty grin twitching at the corner of his mouth. The blonde under his arm doesn't know whether to glare at me or him, her eyes flickering between us. I don't react to his intense, penetrating gaze, or I try not to. I cannot control my cheeks. I strive to appear impassive, with my hands in my leather jacket pockets.
Sure, you can speak to me,
he rasps out eventually, taking his arm from around the blonde. With his hair tied back, his features are sharper and harder. He's so handsome, and for some bizarre reason, I can't help imagining he's tan all over. Stop imagining, I admonish myself internally. "Hey," the blonde grips his arm, rubbing her hip against his cock. "You're coming back, right?" Charlie gives her a deadly stare and snatches her hand off his arm before he pushes her back a step. She stumbles to find her balance, so stunned by his dominant aggressive behavior that she just gawps at him. I'm not stunned. Men like him are often assholes. I lead the way into the house with cool composure through the luminous white kitchen.
Look at that tight little lass.
That fucking guy is still going on.
Maksim Markov really does have to give it up. What did you just say?
Charlie asks, and the kitchen pauses in silence. I peer back on instinct. Charlie is glaring at that guy with evil authority. His eyebrows are so furrowed that he looks wickedly dark.
I wasn't talking to you, man.
That guy shakes his head, lifting self-protective hands.
Sorry. Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Charlie stalks up to him and points a steady finger in his face.
You understand that, boy?
Rolling my eyes, I carry on through the kitchen and into the living room so we can be alone and undisturbed. Charlie's heavy footsteps follow me in.
What did you want to speak about in private, Blair?
I can do no more than 11 minutes, I say while facing him. I just want to get this over with so I can go home. I'm sorry, Charlie, as is Maxim. Charlie stops right in front of me, literally. We're toe to toe. My eyes are level with his chest. He doesn't say anything for a moment, and my anxiety peaks because I can sense he's staring down at me. I fight for my composure, thinking about being at home reading or something. It's easier to control my mental state if I'm not spiritually near him. Lifting a hand, he runs a thumb over my jawline, using the sharp of his nail when he reaches my chin. I'm mentally back in the room now. His touch seems to ignite my body. Hairs raise, and my blood pumps a little faster. I don't understand this, the sensation of when he touches me. No one but Maksim has ever touched me like this before. No one but Maksim is allowed to touch me. In the moment of thinking about my master, I aim to slap Charlie's hand away, that black switch going off in my head, but it's Charlie's voice that stops me in my tracks.
Maksim told you, Blair. 15 minutes.
He whispers, his voice deeper than usual. It somehow carries above the music coming from the kitchen. Lifting my shoulders, I repeat, I'm sorry, Charlie. I don't sound like myself. I sound a little breathless and anxious. I can't give you what I don't have.
Is that right?
Stepping forward, he practically puts us flush against each other. I scowl up at him, defiantly meeting those powerful blue eyes.
Why does he do this? Ensure close proximity.
I step back, but he steps forward, smirking. Another step, and another, until I'm pressed against the wall. Charlie cages me in from the front, and his legs are slightly open, as if he's readying himself for a fight. I can feel the warmth from his large body and smell the clean muskiness of his skin. It's all so bizarrely inviting. No one is allowed to touch me. I counsel him with all the will I have, lifting my chin so I can hold his consuming gaze. He towers over me by at least 8, maybe 10 inches, but I'm not afraid of him. He knows I'm not. He smiles down at me, and I'm not sure, but I think he looks excited.
Maksim will let me touch you,
he says, matter of fact. My heart stutters. I know where he's going with this. I can see desire burning in his eyes. To steer clear of a conflict, I try to walk past him, but he grabs my wrist in a solid grip. A black switch goes off in my mind, and all I can hear are Maksim's words echoing. No one is allowed to touch you, ever. No one but me, my little pet. He's told me this for years. He used to play a recorder on repeat while I slept until his words sunk into my subconscious. That's why I live, to serve him. I smirk back at Charlie. You shouldn't have done that. He flicks up his eyebrows to challenge me. I twist out of his grasp so fast that I land on my knees and elbow him in the nuts. He gasps out, doubling over, and lands on his hands.
Fuck!
I sprint forward and stand, turning around to face him. He lunges at me before I can register he is on his feet. He grabs my throat, runs back with me while groaning in anger, and slams me against the wall. Ah! I gasp on impact, closing and opening my eyes, gripping his wrist with both hands. He laughs in my face.
I'm not your little friend, James.
I choke in his grasp, my head getting dizzy. Then I whack the inside of his elbow to buckle his arm. Neither am I. I draw back and punch him in the face, causing his nose to burst open. He isn't bothered. He tries to grab me again, but I fight him off, cross-whacking his hands away, but he keeps coming at me. I've nowhere to go, so I boot him in the stomach with lower body force. He bends over, winded, and I try to dash out of the living room, but he fists the back of my hair. Arg! I spin around and pound at his chest, forcing him to free me. I can't go too crazy. Maksim is going to kill me for this as it is. When Charlie is a few feet away, forced back by my attack, I jump up on one foot to kick him in the face with my other. He catches my ankle and yanks me forward. Ah! I grimace as my back slams against the hard marble floor. I don't let my pain take over my process. I bolt upright and snatch for his hand on my ankle, but right now he's quicker than I am. I'm not on par tonight. He catches my wrist, still gripping my ankle in his other hand, and manages to flip me over so my face is sliding against the cold floor.
That's more like it,
he says in my ear with humor. He battles to get both my arms behind my back and holds them there in one of his hands. He then grabs a fistful of my hair, hauls me to my feet like this, and turns me around so I'm facing him. I hiss against the discomfort, struggling to free at least one of my hands from his, but my efforts are useless. He bends at the knees, nearly putting us eye to eye. I have no choice but to stand here against him. If I fight while in this position and he pushes my arms up my back, they'll snap.
You're fast.
He tugs on my hair to make me look at him, bending my neck back. His chest is hard against my breasts, crushing me to him. I pant angrily, a little out of sorts. If only I had grabbed my gun and shot this bastard. Through heavy eyes, he glances between my eyes and my mouth, then smirks like he's won.
Tell me, Señorita Blair, why shouldn't I have done that?
He's enjoying this. I just now realize. Is this what he wanted? To fight me? I glare at him with wrath at the stark perfection of his face. He's so fucking handsome it's stupid, even with his nose running red, smothering his top lip. His eyes are the most perfect shade of blue, darker under this light. His olive skin is flawless, begging to be marked.
You really are a bonita little thing,
he whispers, his expression softening as he tips his head. Are we thinking the same thing? Of each other's beauty?
I've never seen a girl so pale, with a million freckles, who is so wildly pretty.
He leans down, putting us nose to nose. You need to let me go, I say in a panic, trying to shove away from him because he's going to try and kiss me. He pushes my arms further up my back. I wince, squeezing my face in agony. My arms feel like they're going to pop out of their sockets.
Stop fighting,
he says. Then his lips seal over mine, catching my pleading no. Everything goes blank. I can't see a thing, nor can I breathe. The air is caught in my throat. Charlie is surprisingly gentle in taking my mouth, humming with pleasure, his lips soft and full. I think about biting his tongue as it probes tenderly at my mouth, but I don't. I just keep my lips together, basking in the sensations of his smooth face on mine, his tongue doing this mind-blowing, slow licking thing across my upper lip. My veins buzz with unfamiliar sensations, every inch of my body inundated with, I don't fucking know. I'm so... In my entire life of battle and blood, I've never, ever felt anything like this before.
Come on, Blair,
he rasps. His breath smells like brandy, spicy and hot.
Let that wrought iron guard down.
I shake my head, trying to keep my lips shut, but it's so hard. My body wants this. Everything that can be puckered is, while my mind is screaming for me to shut down and attack.
You'll let me kiss you.
His smooth face rubs across mine as he puts his mouth to my ear, breathing heavily, making me quiver from head to toe.
If you don't, I'll bend you over that sofa and fuck you right in the ass.
Fear belts through me, and my eyes fly open. We look at each other for a split second like there's nothing else in the world but us. His face is dark with lust. His eyes almost look black because his pupils are dilated. A luring smile spreads across his face, drawing me into the darkness that is him. I gasp, horrified this is happening. I cannot help my panic. Maxime has never prepared me for anything like this. Charlie takes the opportunity to invade me as I gasp. Tipping his head to the side, he dips his tongue in my mouth, moaning with satisfaction. He tastes me in endless, leisurely licks, causing something hot and heavy to gather between my legs. My toes curl in my trainers while my stomach is flipping. His blood tastes metallic. His lips are softer than I ever could have imagined, but demanding, making mine swell.
"You're sweet,"
he says in my mouth, massaging his tongue over mine.
"Eso es bueno. So fucking sweet."
Charlie. I squeeze out his name, but before I can say anything more, he closes his mouth completely over mine, making us airtight. He groans with such passion. The sound vibrates through his chest and mine. Now I'm throbbing between my legs. It's the most confusing feeling, and there's warm liquid in my underwear. I've definitely not felt this before. Yes, Maksim has made me please him. He's made me suck his cock or milk him while he kisses me. And yes, I felt a little warm at times. But this is on another level. Divorcing everything I know, I find myself melting in Charlie's arms, almost buckling at the knees. I even think I moan. I hate that, but I can't help it.
"That's it,"
he rasps out. Letting go of my arms, he holds me around the waist in one arm and yanks me up so my feet aren't touching the floor, making me squeal in shock. He puts us chest to chest. He is pure, solid muscle, and his heart is pounding. So it's not just me. He keeps his other hand in my hair at the back of my head, holding us mouth to mouth, but right now, I don't mind. The pinching in my scalp is the only thing telling me that this is real. I put my tiny hands on his shoulders and kiss him back, just how he's kissing me, carefully and avidly. Our lips mold as one. Our tongues dance over each other's in a twisted game of seduction. I could happily get lost in him. Someone whistles from behind us, startling me.
"She's off limits, my friend."
It's Maksim. My heart explodes in my chest. Yanking up my knee, I try to hit Charlie in the kahunas, but he anticipates my move, blocking my attack with his leg. He laughs in my mouth, pressing one last peck to me, smothering me in his blood.
"I like you,"
he says quietly, so quiet in fact that Maksim cannot hear him. Slowly and warily he puts me down on wobbly legs and steps back, holding out his hands as if I might attack him again. I'm not going to. I couldn't even if Maksim ordered me to. I'm in an odd state. My body is aching for Charlie's warmth and his scent, and most of all, his touch. What the fuck is this? I'm confused with what he makes me feel. I know I have to obey Maksim and all his requests. I know to risk my life for Maksim. I'm wired to attack anyone who touches me, anyone but Maksim. But I didn't fight Charlie when he kissed me. I guess I let him. My thoughts are driving me nuts. I know nothing of this. I don't even know what the fuck this is.
"She got you good."
Maksim laughs with blatant amusement.
"Don't take it personally, my friend. My little pet is trained to take down anyone who touches her without my permission." "Why is she off limits?"
Charlie prowls over to Maksim, who is standing in the doorway looking at me. I cannot see that he's looking at me. I just know. I wipe my lips with a single finger, relishing in the sight of Charlie's blood coating my pale skin. I can still taste him. That kiss was nice. I blink up at Charlie and Maksim, my head still in a desire-fueled fog. They're watching each other like dangerous predators.
"Maksim,"
Charlie snaps.
"Why is she off limits?"
Maksim slants his head to me, his eyes thinning.
"She's innocent, and I'd like for her to stay that way."
Charlie's eyes zoom in on me, and the look on his face. He wasn't expecting Maksim to say that.
"Like hell is she innocent."
Charlie points a leveled finger at me.
"Why would you have a bonita girl like that and not have her?"
Silence dominates us, though I can almost hear Charlie's thoughts running through his mind.
"I have my reasons." Why don't you go and get yourself a proper drink, my little pet?
Maxime ushers me to leave. He half smiles, too, as if pleased with me.
Charlie and I have some business to discuss.
Yeah, you bet we do.
On autopilot, feeling a little more like myself with Maxime's order filtering through my system, I nod and walk past them, eyes down, heading for the kitchen. I could do with a cold, stiff drink. It's been a crazy day. The hallway is aglow with soft blue lights shining up the white walls that boast pictures of every boxer to have ever won the world title. Charlie is a seriously good fighter. I wonder who taught him. I need to find out exactly who he is. Knowing he's a syndicate leader isn't enough. I don't trust him or his intentions, nor his effort to bend me to his will with that damn kiss, for that matter. Though it was a nice kiss. I'll not tell Maxime that. Charlie's bloody nose tells him all he needs to know. That I fought. I fought against him for touching me. Perhaps that's why he was so relaxed about catching Charlie and I in a compromising position. He thinks I resisted. In the kitchen, where it is still heaving in naked women, that guy says nothing to me. He moves out of the way and lets me walk through the cooking space. I pull out my hair tie and my long, fuzzy mane falls down my back. Then I grab a beer out of the fridge, crack open the lid, and guzzle down a healthy mouthful, ignoring the music and the people around me. The bitter liquid is refreshing. I sigh, resting back against the countertop. The bottle is so cold that droplets of water gather under my palm. I press the bottle to my cheek, feeling hot. I still cannot believe Charlie just kissed me. No one has ever kissed me like that before. Maxime is cruel when romantic, if I can call what he does to me romantic, but it's all I know. Though now I have this, whatever this is. Over an hour passes before Maksim and Charlie enter the kitchen. I'm still standing by the fridge, looking as though barely a minute has passed.
I guess I will see you in a week or so, Charlie,
Maxime says with obvious irritation, making his way outside without looking at me. I frown. Why isn't he coming to speak to me? He usually says good night at least.
Out,
Charlie barks with a thumb, and everyone, I mean everyone, leaves through the back doors. I aim to leave too, but Charlie stops in front of me and says,
Not you, señorita.
I rest back against the countertop in resistance.
The 11 minutes will work.
He takes the beer out of my hand and pours the rest down his throat.
You all right, Blair?
Arching my neck back, I scowl at him, noticing he's cleaned up his face of blood. Of course I'm all right. What's Maxime doing? I grab the edges of the kitchen countertop because Charlie virtually puts himself between my legs. What are you doing? With the back of his finger, he wipes my upper lip and shows me his blood is still on my mouth. Again, much to my frustration, I don't even think about hitting him for touching me. I simply get rid of the blood on my mouth by using the cold leather sleeve of my jacket.
Maxime's joining the party,
Charlie says softly, his blue eyes glued to my face.
We've come to a deal.
A deal? I whisper in mystification. Maxime hasn't told me of any deal. He usually tells me everything. A deal about what? Charlie smiles lazily at me. I glower with confusion. His mood is different than before, when we were in the living room. He seems very... I can't be sure. Satisfied, maybe?
Your hair's longer than I thought it was.
His eyes glance over my appearance. He reaches out for a strand of my hair and runs his fingers down it, making my scalp tickle.
It looks nice down.
Ignoring his inane compliment and these weird vibes he's got going on, I ask, What deal have you come to, Charlie? Still fondling with my hair, he stares at my mouth in total silence. My heart is suddenly pounding. I don't like that look on his face, that dark, I won look.
Maksim's got a hefty debt with me. He's been trying to pay it back, but I don't want money. I've got enough of that.
Okay. I blink at him a few times. Well, what do you want then? Charlie stares up at my eyes now, gazing with wicked intent, while curling that lock of hair around his finger.
You.
I go cold on the spot.
And as he knows better than to refuse me, you're now mine for 3 months. Or until I get bored.
He's still speaking, still playing with my hair, but I'm not really listening. I'm not sure how long I stand there gawping at him until I yell, "What?" I shove Charlie's chest, hard enough to knock him back a step and let go of my hair. "I'm not going anywhere with you. What fucking debt are you talking about?" I know Maksim can probably hear me shouting, but right now I don't care. "Charlie, what debt?" Putting the beer bottle on the side, he leans back against the fridge and crosses his arms.
We did a job together a few years back, and unforeseen circumstances meant I wasn't able to collect. While I was away, Maksim spent the money without my permission. So now, I'm collecting.
Steam blows out of my ears. "Not through me, you're not," I hiss, my face tense with anger. "I'm going to speak with Maksim. He wouldn't barter me to pay off some debt."
You're not allowed to speak to him, Charlie says in a chilled, unfazed manner. That is part of our deal.
Huh? My face scrunches up. You can't decide that. Throwing his head back, he bursts out laughing. My eyes widen with insult. What the hell are you laughing at?
Do you know how confusing you are?
He asks once he's done laughing, wiping his watery eyes with one hand.
1 minute I think you're so deeply conditioned to Maksim that there's no getting through to you. Then you're rebellious with your cocky attitude. But then you're thawing in my arms as I kiss you.
A hot flush comes over me at the memory.
Now you have a chance to come with me and get away from this life for a while, if you can call this a life.
He casts a hand around the place.
But you don't want to leave?
I don't know what to say right now, so I just look at him.
What ties you to Maksim?
His thinning eyes search my face, glittering in curiosity.
Tell me. I'm dying to know. I'm almost sure it's not just fear.
He sounds like he's taunting me, goading me into losing my cool, and I am. My blood is boiling.
You can shout your reasons at me if you want, Blair.
His eyebrows flick up with daring.
No one will stop you.
If my reasons for staying with Maksim need explaining, you're denser than I thought. I twist my lips, struggling to contain the bubbling explosion going off inside me. Why would I want to leave Maksim when he's all I know? Why's that so hard to understand? As for this life, I say, pointing at the floor between us, it's mine, and I like it just the way it is. I head for the back doors with my hands fisted at my sides, certain he's talking bullshit. Maksim wouldn't barter me. He wouldn't.
Not so fast.
Charlie's large hand wraps around my upper arm and forces me to an abrupt stop. I'm not fucking doing this with you again. I yank back and forth. Let me, Something sharp stabs me in the side of my shoulder, and a cold, dopey feeling rushes through my veins. Within seconds, my brain goes fuzzy, and I fall back in Charlie's arms, my legs buckling under me. What have you done to me? I say breathlessly, trying to grab my shoulder, but my hands are all floppy.
Shh. It's all right, Blair,
he whispers in my ear from behind, stroking my hair back out of my face.
You're gonna be all right.
The world as I know it goes dark.